Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. Welcome to the raw side. You guys are noticing that I sound like a frog because I'm still battling a head cold. But the show must go on and we are going to battle through the best that we can. Um, Tonight we have our wonderful guest, Jeff from Boo Production Paranormal. Let's everybody welcome Mr. Jeff to the stage. Hi, Jeff.
Hey, how you doing?
Sicker than dog. How about
Yeah, you
you?
you you sound like you've had some better days.
Holy mackerel, but the show must go on.
Yeah, do it, do it.
Oh,
Yeah.
hi, Joe Vitale. Welcome, welcome.
Hey, Joe, how you doing?
Oh my goodness, yeah, just my husband had it, then he shared it with me, and it's just been a hot mess. And the problem
I
is I'm
think.
allergic to medications, so I can't take
Oh,
nothing.
yeah. Dana's got a lot of allergies
Yeah,
too.
every now and then if you see me cut out, it's because I'm gonna be coughing and I don't want to be coughing all over everybody.
That makes sense.
Oh my goodness. So how are you and the wifey doing?
We're doing good. I'm doing better than she is. She had an incident today where she fell
Oh
and
no.
and messed her hand up really bad, but jerked everything else around. We've had her daughter's dog for the last year, and
Right.
her daughter is in Germany for the next couple of years. So the dog got flown today. So they were taking the dog to the airport, and the dog didn't want to get in the crate and pulled her and
Oh
knocked her
no.
over, and so she ended
Oh
up
boy.
she ended up going to the urgent care on the way home. So
Yeah,
yeah,
nice. See, I don't blame the dog. I wouldn't want to go either.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's a long flight. I think it's an 8 hour
Yeah.
flight or something like that. But
Oh wow. Poor things would be scared to death.
yeah, and they put him in the crate like I think her flight was scheduled for 4:40, and they put her in the crate at like noon or something like that. Like it's just
Oh no.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
But
That's an awful
I
lot.
mean, she'll be, the dog will be happy to be with her mom, and her mom will be happy to, that her
Right.
dog's with her. So
Right.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Mrs.
Wow.
Boo is in the comments saying she's highly
I
medicated right now.
she's highly meant. I wish I was.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, every time I try to medicate, I end up with an allergic reaction. And you gotta
is it?
pop the Benadryl.
Oh, geez, is it antihistamines or something that you can't take?
It's
Or
any medication. So apparently they just got to find out what is in
huh?
medicine that I'm allergic to.
Wow, that's
So pretty much, if I have surgeries and stuff, I can't take any of the pain pills.
oh boy.
Um, I have fibromyalgia and arthritis problems. I can't take any of that medicine.
Oh,
So
geez.
the majority of the time when I'm watching you guys on a live stream, I'm laying in bed on ice
Yeah.
packs, you know,
Is there any?
trying to go
Have you
ahead.
ever looked at any like natural,
You
like?
know, I'm afraid to be honest. I'm afraid to take anything.
Okay.
Because I just don't know what I'm going to be allergic to, and I just don't want to end up in. I'm always ended up in ER.
Yeah.
So I
There
mean,
was a Hey Fantastique and Hey Faith, but there
hi,
was
hi,
a
hi, gals.
I think you were in the chat. Did you watch Kenny Biddle's show last Friday, right?
I believe I did.
Where he had that lady that was on that, like she was on that holistic
Yes,
stuff and
yes.
I was like, holy crap, that was scary.
Yeah, it was scary. See,
That
so as
was
I'm saying, you don't
yeah,
know what you're taking and what it
right.
does.
Yep.
And then in her case, they didn't list all the ingredients.
Yeah.
So, and the one thing they didn't list made,
Yep.
in trouble, poor
Yep.
thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I just, so that's the trap that I'm in.
Yep. It's
Same
almost
thing.
like the commercial holistic stuff is the bad stuff. If that like if you can really find somebody that has natural stuff, I
Right.
think maybe that's the key. But it's a lot of these products are, commercial holistic items, and they do the same things that other medicine makers do, fillers and whatever. So
Fillers. And that's
yeah.
what I'm thinking. Either it's the coating on the pills or a
Hey Don,
filler
how you
that they
doing?
use.
Yeah.
And hi, Miss Dawn. I love how she put Dawn of the Dead. That's so
Yeah.
great.
Yeah,
Uh,
she started her channel, or I don't know if she started it, but she said the other day that she's going to start using it. So
all right. Well, we're looking forward to that. Well, she's
yep,
driving. Don't talk while you're driving
exactly.
unless you got a
Safe
hands free.
safety first.
I always yell at Wendy. You know Wendy. She's
Yeah.
always in the chats.
Yep.
She's, oh, I'm driving. I go, you're driving and you're texting. Knock it off.
Yep.
So so it's pretty much I'm gonna have to go to an allergist.
Yeah.
Maybe they can figure it out, which I doubt it, you know? It's just, a day at a time and
Yeah.
something up. And you wouldn't think cold medicine would bother you, but, yeah, I proved them wrong.
Yeah. Or not. I mean, you would think that you could find one that doesn't or a couple that don't, but to be
Exactly.
all of it, that's
That
just
well,
weird.
my doctor gave me, like, 3 or 4 different scripts, and I says, "Well, I'm taking the one," and I
Mhm.
took it the minute I took it, I could feel it. So I'm thinking, "Oh, crap."
Yeah.
So I hurry up, took the Benadryl, and, the stuff I took was a time release capsule, so it lasted up to 12 hours.
Mm.
So it took longer for the Benadryl to kick in.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, then she prescribed something else, for the cough because I have a terrible cough.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not taking that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you already shot down the one. I ain't trying nothing else. So
Yep. Yep.
it's just I gotta wait and see and just suck it up. So like I said, if I start choking, I'll just mute everything so you guys don't see me go into some kind of choking fit.
Yeah. What's your well, don't say your address obviously on the internet, but if we need to send 911, what do we who do we call?
Central New York area. So it's always your wife put on there. My daughter was allergic to pink food coloring. They put that in antibiotics. Yeah, see, that's what I'm thinking. It's got to be because there's two. I did some research last night, and
Yeah.
there's a list of stuff that they do put in as fillers. And the
Mm.
only thing that I don't know that I've been in contact with are two dyes. It's a red
Oh,
dye and a blue dye.
yeah.
Pardon me. Everything else I've already had exposure to, and I don't
Mhm.
have a problem with. So it might be a dye of some kind.
Huh.
But until then, I'm just gonna just stay the way I am, and it's like I got razzed because I didn't get the COVID shot,
I
and
don't blame you.
I told him I said no. I said,
Mm.
I told him my doctor told me not to do it because we don't know if whatever is in that crap is going to put me in the cemetery.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I said that I'll just
Yep. And I yeah,
deal.
and I don't really I don't want to get hated on for saying things like this, but like they're coming out that there were a lot of problems with those vaccines. People are having problems. And
Oh
and
yeah.
the major drug companies are admitting it, but it's all very, very quiet.
Yeah.
So
I lost a brother-in-law to the
yeah.
vaccine. He's a
Oh, to the
truck
vaccine.
driver.
Oh,
He had to get the shot because he was a truck driver.
yeah.
So he got it while he was on the road, and within 30 minutes, he was crashing his truck into a truck stop.
Holy cow.
His body was filled with blood clots,
Oh
and,
my God.
they did manage to bring him back to life in the parking lot, but,
Mm.
within 24 hours, he was gone.
Wow. That's horrible. I'm
So,
sorry to hear that.
yeah, I wasn't taking that chance.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't either after that.
Too scary. It really is.
Well, and if your doctor says don't do it, then
Well, yeah,
people
because I got a lot of shit for it. And I said,
yeah,
no, my doctor even told me
yeah.
not to do it
Hmm.
because there was no definite uh, testing as far as what I'm allergic to
Yep.
compared to what's in there. And, I said, I'm sorry. I value my life more than I value, I'll
Yeah.
take my chances with catching COVID. And
Yeah.
I did catch it eventually,
Yeah.
but it was just like having a big flu
Yeah.
and I survived it. So
Yeah. I mean, it was
I'd rather do it that way.
we had it too, and it was like a nasty flu, but
Yeah.
and it was quite a few days more than the regular flu. But I mean, you know, it
Yeah. I was home for 3 weeks.
yeah.
Because it takes a little. Anybody that has a chronic pain condition, it
Mhm.
takes longer for us to heal because our body we
Oh,
don't get enough sleep,
yeah.
and that's when you heal is when you're sleeping. And I'm lucky if I get
Yeah.
2 to 3 hours of sleep a night, if I'm lucky.
Yeah.
So said I had a heart attack like a month after I got the COVID booster. Yeah, see that now?
Wow.
Was that connected, Joe? Did they say it was or not?
I
See, that's
never
the stuff they're not telling people.
yeah. That's what I
I
said.
mean, there is
They're
information out there. I
yep.
mean, don't get me wrong, it is out there. You have to research.
Yep.
But when you've got, a lot of people, you're demanding to have something done,
Yeah.
which I
Yep. And
uh,
and
this
it's
doctor believes
they
he was connected.
yeah.
See
And
that?
it's
See that?
it's from legitimate sources too. It's not like it's, fringe Art Bell people that are talking about all these problems. It's the drug makers themselves are having to say
Yeah,
that, that yes, there's problems. But
right.
it's just, like I said, everybody keeps it on the down low and they keep it quiet because, they forced it down our throats so hard that, you know,
Yes, they did.
yep.
Yeah, I had people coming up to me because I'm a minister. Will you sign the religious, paperwork? Yes, I will.
Mm,
If you're trapped in a spot where you can't get away with it,
yeah.
and if you want religious exemption, I'll sign the paper.
Yep. And
I
even
said because I don't believe.
some
And
professions and stuff though, they weren't even taking those. Like
yeah, but I
like
mean
the
they can't
police
really deny
officers in New
you,
York. Yeah. But I think like police officers in New York, it was a hard line whether you had an exemption that was legit or not. It was if you didn't
right?
take it, you got canned. That was it. And there was, I think, a lot of lawsuits that are probably still going on that,
Oh,
hey, I had a
probably
religious exemption or whatever. And
right.
so,
Yeah, they have to honor that.
yeah.
And yeah, I'm too. I'm happy for you guys too. I mean, that's terrible. He had the shot. Trying to protect yourself from one thing,
Yep.
and then your doctor says it was connected. It brought on a heart condition, and so
Yeah.
and now that's something he's got to worry about forever.
Yeah. I never even heard that Joe had a heart attack.
So, it's
Too young for that, Joe.
I, yes, he is too young for that. Well, because I remember people on one of his shows him outside smoking, and people were giving him shit in the
Yeah.
chat about, yeah, you had a heart attack. What are you doing with a cigarette?
Yeah. As I sit here and chain smoke when I get on these live shows,
Oh, I know, I know. Well,
I can't help
I
it.
actually quit smoking 5 days ago.
Oh, good.
Because
Congratulations.
I don't like the way it's affecting my voice, because
Yeah.
I don't usually sound like a frog, and so I was just, saying no, and then my husband that was a smoker, I made him quit,
Yeah.
because he used to cough so bad, I was waiting for shoes to come out of his mouth.
Yeah.
So I took the cigarette, I said, "That's it, you're done."
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's easy, I wear a pad for one day, and I'm done. It only takes one day,
Oh, wow.
and I'm
Yeah.
good. My husband's still wearing the patch, but he's doing great. I'm
Hmm.
really proud of him. So, because I told him, I said, "You can't have the cigarettes back."
Yeah. I definitely got to fight that demon at some point soon.
Yeah,
'Cause
it's just you gotta make the choice.
yep.
You know, it's
And I really backed off. I cut way down for a while, but then I started getting into the editing and the YouTube and the lot of hours sitting here behind the computer, and I just bad.
right. Oh
So
yeah. That's my husband goes, I gotta find something to do with my hands.
yeah,
I said, well, I got a whole list of stuff. I can help you out with that one.
you can build this, you can build
And that's
that.
the one way, that's when he takes a beeline for the, oh, I don't think so.
Yeah, yep,
So that's all right. That's all right. Well, guys, tonight's actually our, I love to chit chat about anything and everything, that. And
yep.
anybody that wants to join can join. You're more than welcome. I'm sure Jeff wouldn't mind either.
Nope,
Um, Tonight, our subject is demonologists and exorcists, and we're going to discuss because Jeff's got a lot of background and information in that, and we like to dig into what's fake, what's real, and
and
pretty much
unfortunately, there's way too much fake out there. I mean,
exactly.
I became a certified demonologist in I think it was 2.5 or 3 hours for about $25, and the course is absolute garbage. They promoted you, um, they encouraged you to summon demons while investigating and things like that.
Ah,
I'm like, what? So, in a very, very short course, you're going to encourage people to do that and then, but not tell them how or, I mean, it was mind blowing to me, yeah, go out and summon a demon on your next investigation. That's a great idea.
right. And and
But
they all do it. All the fakers do this stuff.
yeah.
And I mean, whether you believe they exist or not, there's always, a balance. There's good and
Hmm.
there's evil. So whether you call it a demon or whatever, there's always a bad side to the good.
Yeah.
And so if you latch on to something like that,
Hmm.
even like Joe can tell you he's had his bad
Yeah.
experience.
Yep.
I've had family members who are investigators and brought stuff home with
Yep.
them,
Yep.
and it took them a while to get rid of it.
Hmm.
Uh,
I've
so
I've brought stuff home. I mean,
yeah,
it's
see, it's part of the part of what goes into what we do.
yep. But
Uh,
I don't want to. So I would early on, and I still do, but I'm more aware of what it's like to have something like a bad attachment or something bad following you home. So I'm aware of the signs now, so I won't let it happen. But I leave myself open to, like, I wouldn't do prayers of protection or you know any of that stuff because I wanted to have experiences. Well,
right.
I've had some, and
You've
it's
had
in there
enough.
again. I always tell people, don't go out and do this without saying a prayer of protection before you investigate and stuff like that. That's one thing I always say. But if I'm being honest, I don't do that, but I don't do it on purpose.
Right.
But I'm one too that, like, if something comes at me, that's fine. But if it goes after people that I'm with or people I know, that's when I get pissed.
Right.
And so I always
So,
want them to be safe, but I'm willing to take a risk, I guess.
right. Now you shouldn't do that either. Always
No.
protect yourself the best you
Yeah.
can.
Yep.
Um, because you just never know what you're gonna. And actually, like I said, the people that I know that have brought stuff home, they said
Mhm.
they slacked off on that.
Yep.
Because when you do so many investigations, it gets to be just
Yeah.
a routine thing. Okay,
Yep.
grab the cameras, get all the gear.
Yep.
You got this, you got that. Okay, let's set up, and they just forget, you know, the protection part.
Me and you don't know how many times
You just don't think about it.
there's been a lot of times me and Dana have come home, and on the drive home we're like, shit, we didn't cleanse ourselves or anything like that afterwards. So we'll pull over in
Right?
a parking lot and get the wad of sage out. This
Yeah.
looked like pot smokers out in this parking lot just smoking the hell out of everything.
People driving by going, "What the
Yeah.
hell are they
What kind of
doing?"
witchcraft is going on over there? So yeah,
That's when
we've
you
done
hold
that
it
a
up to your
couple.
mouth to make it look like
Oh yeah. That would be my sense of humor. And I would do it,
want to
my
hit.
luck would be a cop would be driving by.
Sage
So
is legal.
yeah. But visually it looks weird from a long ways away.
Oh yeah, that'd be really funny. But
That
that's
is the
something I would
biggest.
do. Yeah.
That's like a Cheech and Chong joint.
Okay,
So
actually, what I want you to do is tell us the difference between a demonologist and an exorcist.
okay, in all of my perspective, I mean, I have some knowledge of other religions and stuff, but I'm primarily coming from the Christian and Catholic perspective. Um, but a demonologist basically is someone who studies demons. You're not qualified to perform an exorcism. You have to be an actual exorcist for that. And when I say exorcist, I mean a legitimate Catholic church, Catholic trained, you know, you've got to go to a significant amount of training to be able to do that. Not take in, and we, a lot of us, I'm sure, watch Beardo, and Beardo took James Long's course.
Yes, I just
Um,
saw that.
yeah, and he looks like he pissed him off, but hey, I like what he said. It's you shouldn't charge for that, but James Long is not a Catholic. Or I take that back. He is not affiliated with the Vatican.
Right.
He basically started his own church and called it the Old Catholic Church or something like that. But that's his church. He made that up.
Ah,
And he did go to seminary. Like, from what I understand, he almost graduated. That's when he left the Catholic Church. So I mean, he's a lot more trained than a lot of these other guys out there. But a lot of these guys, and I personally know them, they go out and get ULC ministries ordained, which is free.
yep,
There's absolutely all you need is an email address and a name, pretty much.
yep.
So, but then they call themselves an archbishop or a priest, and an exorcist. They're all these guys running around here with this fake stuff. They're all exorcists. I think it's some kind of, like, they want to be Russell Crowe from the Pope's exorcist. Like, it's cool to be an exorcist because they all dress goofy too, you know, and some of them don't even claim to be Catholic, but they wear the Catholic collar. So they're,
Okay.
but normal people think that they're actual archbishops of the actual Catholic Church when they have zero schooling whatsoever. They don't
Right.
do any other kind of ministry other than exorcisms. In where are they getting trained to do these? There's a few
Yeah.
places
Right.
you can get trained online, but they're garbage courses. They're not legit. They're not the real deal. So, and how many of these guys require like mental evaluations of people that say they're possessed? Because even, you know, even as I would never attempt an exorcism on anybody or anything even close to that. But anybody that claims demon, we require them to go get some kind of mental health evaluation. You know,
I
and
agree. Yeah.
go to their medical doctor too. We've had cases where things that were happening to this lady were they were all caused by medications, other medical issues, not even psychological ones, but medical issues were causing things, and she thought it was a possession. Because it was in one of my videos, but she thought it was a possession because a paranormal team went in there and
Right.
photoshopped orbs and said that she had a demonic problem and recommend that she call Bill Bean to get rid of it. And then, of course, they spent thousands of dollars, and so that's sign number one. If anybody is charging you to do any kind of deliverance or exorcism or anything like that, they're
Right.
not legit.
Right.
Not, you know, Father Vincent Lambert and Gary Thomas, you know, those they're legit exorcists. They would people like that would never ever charge you.
Exactly.
And it's not even just Catholics. I mean, because I do believe that Christians have the power to do deliverances, which is, I guess, the non-Catholic exorcism. Um, you know, because the authority comes from God, it doesn't come from the person.
From the person
So,
is, well, yeah, that's where faith comes into
right,
play.
right,
You can't do any of this stuff and claim to be, agnostic or
yep,
atheist, or
right,
you have to have a strong faith base
hmm,
because that's who's doing the work. God
right,
is the one is doing the work.
right,
And if you don't believe in any of that,
yeah,
then it's just all a big shit show.
yep. I think it was Gary Thomas or one of the other, like, so there's a few of these exorcists that are real that will do interviews and go on camera and stuff, not with their exorcisms, but like they'll tell people what it's really like. And he said the only one that he ever got physically harmed in is because he started to get a bit of an attitude, like he was the one doing it and not God.
Right.
So he said he got tossed like hardcore. I mean, he got
Oh,
launched
yeah.
across the room and like, and he was like, "Ooh, learn that lesson the hard way."
Yeah. Well, because yeah, if you have a flaw in your faith,
Yeah.
it's got to be 100%. And if it's
Mhm.
not, then you shouldn't even be in that room.
Right. Yep.
That's the way I look at it.
Yep. And
And as far
it's
as like education requirements, like I said, Beardo just, I think, did he finish the course? I know he was
he,
complaining
he
about it.
yeah, he
Uh,
finished part 1, but then right after that, after he did his video, Bishop Long made his course for free. So I don't know if he plans on going and taking the next part or not,
oh,
um
okay.
but yeah,
So
and that's another thing. You can't, I mean, like that should be that needs to be some kind of apprenticeship type program. Like you can't just take an online course and say, okay, I'm ready. I passed this
exactly.
course. I'm going to go do an exorcism. Like you should probably be around people that are doing them,
Oh,
you know,
yes, the research that I did
for a
on
few
that,
times.
it says in the research that did, pretty much, uh, true training for demonologists is they do recommend that you do a psychology course,
Yep. Yep.
even go through a parapsychology
Yeah.
course, and then also you do have to do an apprenticeship
Hmm.
with somebody who's done it for years,
Yeah.
and you have to learn.
Yep.
And so, like you said, these people are taking like you got certified in what 20 minutes,
No,
and
it was 2.5 or 3 hours,
oh, okay,
but still, that topic is 3 hours is nowhere near enough. Like
definitely no.
I didn't learn anything. I could have taken that test and passed that without doing any of their courses, you know, any of the coursework, because there was a test that you had to pass to get the certificate. And
Right.
but I could have passed that without listening to the 3 hours of stuff.
So
So
it's pretty much just common sense.
yep, yep.
Yeah. See,
There's
yikes.
people out there too getting, there's, you know, clergy that are out there getting master's degrees in and doctors in divinity. That's another buzzword degree. If someone's claiming that they have a doctor in divinity, that's not even a real thing. You don't get that through a legitimate seminary. Um, I looked one up. All you had to do was write a 4,000 word thesis, and you're a doctor of divinity, and of course pay the fee. There's always a fee associated with it. But
Of course.
there was no coursework, there was no training, there was no, and so they run around and call themselves doctor, like they've actually achieved that degree, and it's such an insult to people that have gone to like Notre Dame and have actual
Yes.
doctorates, or
Yeah,
masters.
put the work in. Yeah.
Yep. And they even said on their website, because I looked this up, they they said don't stress about what you're going to write about. So pretty much if you meet the word count,
Your
you're
gold.
it. Yeah. And pay the
Yeah.
fee, you're gold.
Wow.
It was, and they've got master's degrees for, I think they're about $400. So tell me when the last time you saw somebody with a legit master's degree paid $400 for it. It it doesn't happen.
Well,
and it's
gee, I would like to have a few master's degrees and some stuff. I have to go check it out.
and it was, buy one get one half off. So you could
Oh
get
God.
two
Oh
master's
God.
degrees for $600 or whatever the price is. I mean, it's just it's so deceptive because they can legally use them in their titles, and
Yeah.
people don't know the difference.
No.
They're
No.
like, they see master's degree and they're like, oh, okay, well, you must have got
And
it from
that's
a
the thing,
legit place.
they're in panic, so they're not in the right frame of mind. So you're
And
gonna go online and just look, oh, who can I get? Who can I get?
and if you look up um a lot of these guys with these degrees don't say where they're from. Like, we have a daughter that has a master's degree. She proudly says where she got it from. So, but these guys, that it's very, very hard to find out where they got their education from. Yeah,
Right.
Dawn right there. That's probably a big insult to people like Dawn. She paid 50 grand for hers, and this dude over here is paying $400. Like,
Right.
that's just wrong.
And she
They,
had to
they,
put in all of her time, and
yeah,
like you said, they only do a few hours, and
yep.
that's what where the people are getting away with nowadays.
And they're getting them in areas like um psychological counseling. They put these words that sound like they're actual medical positions, or you know psychiatrist positions, but they're not. They're just
Right.
like, you're qualified to sit and talk to somebody, but that's all you can do. You can't do medication, you can't do diagnosis, you can't, none of that stuff. You're
Right.
qualified to talk to them, and that's it, and hopefully make them feel better.
Right. Yeah. See, 1.5
Yeah.
years. It's
Well,
yeah.
Dawn, you did it
It's
wrong. You should have you should have looked up one of these online
yeah.
places.
Dawn, what's the matter with you?
I'm just kidding. No, but I get, it bothers me that because like I said, one of the reasons it bothers me so much is it is a big insult to people like Dawn, that
Yes.
these people parade this title around, that
Or and it just and everybody that's actually done,
mhm.
the schooling and the internship, so they put their time in,
Yeah,
because it's really not something to play with.
right.
I mean, like you said, talk about some of the experiences that you've had,
With cases,
yeah, with cases.
yeah, there was, so which video was it? I think it was in the paranormal nightmare video that I did. I showcased a case, and not near as much as I wanted to. I could have made that video 4 or 5 parts if I would have, because they visited a house of a lady that came to us asking for help. So, and I saw her in their episode. I was like, holy crap, that's so and so. We dealt with her. They did not help her. She is like, she's psychotic. Um, but so she came to us a long time ago, and the first that she was claiming demon possession and all this stuff, and all this stuff was absolutely no evidence whatsoever of anything going on. So because we always ask people, do you have any, you know when they make big claims, something should be captured, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I mean, and it not always does, but anytime that the D word is thrown out there, demon, um a psychological and medical evaluation is a requirement. Like, we're not even going to discuss this until that's done,
Sure.
or if you're in the process of doing it. So then we found out that Bishop Long had actually been to her house, I think 4 or 5 months before she reached out to us. Maybe it
Right.
wasn't even that long. And he denies it, and he says that he did not tell her that there was something demonic in her home, but I've seen the screenshots. He reading it, it doesn't, like, I don't think he meant to, but he did say demon, and there was an infestation in her house, and he cleared it, is what he told her. And like I
Right.
said, I've seen the screenshots, so he can deny it all he wants. It's
You're right, Fantasy. They don't
yeah.
check. They're taking people, like I said, but this kind of thing, you're scared to death,
Hmm.
so you're trying to hurry up and get somebody to help you.
Yep.
So I think the last thing they're thinking about is, okay, are these people legit?
Yep. So if I come in and say, um, my name is Archbishop Jeff Schlachter, and I'm a doctor of divinity, all of it means absolutely nothing because of the way that I got those titles. But and if I wear a priest collar, normal people are going to think that I'm an actual archbishop and an exorcist.
Yep.
It's and they play the part.
And
I
they
mean,
even give you credentials to
yeah.
carry.
Oh yeah. Yep. Certificates.
So yeah,
This one person I knew walked around with a notebook of all of his degrees and would fight with people about how legit they are. It's like, dude, you can think they are, but they're not. It's sorry. You
is
pay a
yeah,
few thousand and go through a year and a half of college, and then we can talk. So yeah. So anyway, Bishop Long got involved with that case with another team, and the team that he sent was very, very nice. Like, I know them now because we talked to them about this lady's case, but they were taking his demonology class, and they lived fairly close to where this lady lived. So he basically asked them to go do an investigation um, before he went out there. So, fresh out of demonology class, we go to this lady's house. I I've seen the videos. This is no lie. Within 5 minutes, they're communicating with a demon with a K2 meter. They didn't do baseline readings, didn't, maybe this is your grandpa, none of that. It was, they started the religious provocation and communication right away. It was all done with a K2 meter. And I'm watching this like, oh my God. Now, that being said, they did have a real paranormal thing happen that, like, I can't explain. I have a theory as to what it was. But so the whole time they're doing this lady is getting scared and
right,
scared and more scared and more, and, she can't, oh my God, this is confirmation that I have a demon in my house like I thought. So, but then at one point in their videos, the light bulb in the kitchen just blows up. So whether that's just an odd coincidence, I personally think you know how, like, you can throw out that energy. I think
right.
she was so scared that she threw out like a burst of, some kind of kinetic energy or something like that. And that's what blew the light bulb up. But then again, there's more proof that there's a demon in my house.
Right,
So
right.
so after this investigation, they're on the phone with, Bishop, and he makes a 7-hour trip there, and in they all acknowledge now that yes, this lady is crazy. Like, that's her problem. But that's why you have to look at that route before you start going in and doing, trying to communicate with a demon and all this other stuff. It's, go the medical route first. It's very, very important.
Oh yeah.
But and people are saying that, like, Twin Paranormal is going to start doing residentials. I've heard a few people say that recently, and even
Oh,
Paranormal Nightmare, you can't just go in, do a little cute house blessing, and go on to the next video. It doesn't work that way. We've
exactly.
we've spent months with clients. Some go quicker than others, but
Right.
and some don't even turn out to be anything paranormal. It's, psychological or drugs. That's another common one. So,
Yeah, because there's no guarantee that a cleansing is going to take first time
yep,
around.
yep. And even a real exorcist will tell you it's not a one and done thing. It's
Oh,
it takes
it
a
could be
long time.
months. It could be
Yeah,
years. It could be,
yep.
yeah.
So it's not, but paranormal TV, of course, and YouTube make it look like you can just go into someone's house and give him an exorcism real quick and head
Gonna
out the
go
door.
boogie, 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 and it's all done.
Move on to the next one. In fact, that Bob Larson, he does live shows on Wednesday nights. So he'll be on at 9 o'clock tonight Eastern, and he'll be doing a live exorcism. Like, where do you find this? Like, how do you just, oh, I know that on Wednesdays at 9, I'm going to have somebody to do an exorcism on. You
Well,
know,
they
it's
must
because
put
he's
maybe like an ad out
no
looking for
people.
possessed people.
Now people find him. They
Yeah,
it
that's the sad thing. They do
yeah.
because people are just so afraid and
Yep.
they're so uneducated
Yeah.
that they just latch onto the first person that comes along,
Yep.
and their mind is totally open to what that
Yep.
person has to say.
And
Uh,
he charges. When I did research on him, I believe it was like 350 for a Zoom session for an hour, and then like 750 to meet with him in person
ugh,
for an hour.
oh
It's
my god! Hi, Julie.
hey Julie, how you doing?
Yeah, that's some scary. Well, because I have a friend, and she's Dominican. She
Hmm.
comes from the Dominican Republic, and and she's very religious, but she's very superstitious.
Mm,
And
yeah.
she is this woman. This woman's latched right onto her, telling her that, well, you've got demons that are going after your soul, and I can help you. I'm the only one that can help you,
Yep.
but you have to send me X amount of dollars every
Yep.
month.
Yeah.
How many times I've tried to tell her the woman is a con artist.
Yeah.
Well, and you don't understand. No, I understand that you're being crazy.
Yep.
I get you're superstitious, and that's what she's playing on, your
Yeah.
fear.
Yep.
I says, and she and she's like I said, she's very religious, so
Hmm.
she's very strong in her Catholic belief, or
Yeah.
I should say Christian, but she's not
Hmm.
Catholic. And I said, and so I tried to play a little bit of reverse psychology with her,
Yeah.
and I says, well, not for nothing. If you're such a strong Christian, how can you worship Christ and the devil at the same time?
Yeah.
And she looked at me like, what are you talking about? I said, because the woman works for the devil, and
Hmm.
you're giving her your money to save your soul, which God created.
Yep. And
You
why?
were, yeah, yeah, tell her you were protected from the day you were born.
Right. And that was what I was going to say is why go to someone when if you're really a Christian and a strong Christian, you have
Yes,
all the tools that you need to handle that yourself.
already. And
You-
she thought about it. She goes, well, no, you're right. She
mhm.
stopped for a little while, but no, she's still sending her money. I know she is.
Yeah, that's
And I said, I can't help you
yep.
if you don't want to help yourself.
Hmm.
I says, if you want, I'll do a blessing over you
Yeah.
anytime you want, and
Yep.
it's free.
Yep. And he's Bob Larson is worth millions.
Yeah.
These and it's really in the charismatic movement. It's really a problem there. Everybody's a deliverance minister now.
Oh
And
yeah.
they are getting paid. I mean, they are making big, big, big money. It's I mean, they'll be sorry one day.
The fakes
you
make
know.
the money. That's where it
Yep.
goes.
Yep.
Because I mean, a
And
lot of
you
people
see,
say, "Well, why don't you charge?" I go, "No, because
yeah.
I'm performing a service."
Mhm.
Uh, just like I make I do handmade jewelry and stuff, but I
Mhm.
also make rosary beads.
Yeah.
And because there's a lot of people that like to do prayer meditation,
Yeah.
and then they'll say, "Well, how much?" I go, "No, this they're blessed. It's free.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to charge anything that's blessed."
Yep. Yeah, we
Uh,
do when we do our conventions or paracons and stuff that we go to, we sell like religious protection kits,
yeah,
and we include a rosary and um in holy water, but we keep the holy water out. We give that to them after they purchase the kit,
right,
because I don't want to sell anything that's blessed. I don't do that.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not supposed to, but
Right.
it's yeah. So if
Yeah.
it's
Yep.
blessed, it's free. If
Yep.
not, then you got all the right to charge all you want.
Yeah. Yep.
Uh,
And we tell people too, like the rosary and stuff like that. Those are not blessed items. Those are,
right. Yeah,
we
they have to be
recommend that you go
blessed.
do that. Yeah. But we
But
do give the holy water, but that's like a here you go after the fact.
there you
So,
go.
yeah.
So no, that's nice to add that in.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's these people are making money like crazy, and they're just
Yeah.
I don't believe anything they're doing.
Yeah. And I've wondered too. So I've been watching a lot of these guys lately. I mean, you've seen some of the video stuff that I put out. It's a real bugaboo of mine. So I've done a boatload of research on a lot of these ministries, and I want to find a hypnotist or somebody like that to see if they're using hypnotic techniques.
Oh,
to, you're already taking people that are vulnerable. I mean, those people go to they're always done in a hotel room too, or not a room, but like a hotel.
like a
Yeah,
banquet
banquet
room.
hall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so people are going to this either to watch or they feel that they're possessed, so they're already vulnerable, so they're totally easy to trick. And then are you adding hypnosis techniques or things like that to really get reactions and things like that out of them? Because it's, I don't know, it's just, I need to find out how they're getting these people to go along with it, or they just straight up actors or fakers or
Good.
whatever.
Yeah.
'Cause
Good. That's
some
a
of
good
that does
question.
happen too. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
But
In
yeah,
these
some of it you
ministries.
see and you're looking at him like, what the heck? See, I
Yep.
can't watch that stuff because I get so angry.
Yeah.
And then I start yelling at the computer screen and my husband's laughing in back of me.
Yep. Yep.
That's why when you make the comment that you want to do like reaction
Yeah.
videos with all of us, you
Yeah.
might be in trouble if you I
Well,
try
we
to keep
had
everything nice, but it's
I
sometimes my
had
mouth gets away with me.
I had Dana sit down and watch one and kind of talk about it, and she some of that definitely won't make the won't make the episode.
Because the
Yes,
F
Joe, that
bombs were flying, huh?
yeah, Joe, in one of my videos I did talk about that. The power of suggestion
Yeah, yeah,
is
he's
is
right. The power of
huge.
suggestion.
Yep, that test that they did with the, you know, telling people that they were giving them caffeine when it wasn't, and they all perform better. It's just the power of suggestion is very, very real. And I think a lot of that
Yes.
goes on too in these ministries. You take a vulnerable person and suggest something like that. And I mean, that's almost too easy. You know, it's
Oh, there's a
sick.
thing. Like they say people are sheep, and they are.
Yeah. Yep.
When you are totally controlled by another human being,
Yep.
and they're lost, and it's
Yep.
and especially even worse in this situation.
Yep. And
These people are lost and afraid, and they're gonna latch on to the first savior that comes through the
yep.
door.
And I've seen a couple videos too, because I downloaded them because someday I'll use them in something, but where people admitted that they faked their possession and their deliverance from like Bob Larson and people like that. They did it
Right,
because they were like, I was on stage and I freaked out. I didn't know what to do. Like, so I just had to go with it. I couldn't but nothing was happening. Like, I wasn't being delivered of anything, but I had to kind of fake it because like I'm right there on the stage, front and
right.
center. Everybody's watching, like something has to happen. So, you know,
So I mean, so in like I said, you're watching it, you're there,
mhm.
and I couldn't go to one of those things either and say, just sit there, and because I would like to observe it.
Yes.
Because I like to do that. I like to go into other,
Yep.
churches and stuff like that and observe
Yep.
what they're doing,
Yep.
their traditions, their rituals,
Yep.
because that's how we learn.
Yeah.
And, to sit there and go through one of those, I don't think I'd
hmm
survive.
And
I just don't.
it's very telling too when the people, so like I've watched hundreds of these, but like the people sitting around them are so calm. Like they're all
Right,
just sitting in their seats while this pastor's beating the crap out of this lady with a cross, stabbing her in the gut, hitting her in the head. And the people around are just sitting there calm, like they're watching a show. It's like, so I've had a couple cases that I'm pretty sure were demonic. And you're not going to be that calm if that person is really, really possessed. You're not going to be sitting there in that chair that close to them. You're going to back the hell away because it's a completely different thing. Like I hate to say it, but you do know it. It's
right.
if you've ever encountered it, if for real, you do know it. And I can't describe how you know it, but you just do. I mean, so
Right. Well, yeah, because I've
yep,
never had that
yep.
experience.
We've had the two that we've had, like in the initial talks and things like that. This this one client was provoked. It was in a Zoom meeting, and I 1000% believe if she wasn't fully possessed, there was a demon involved in that case. Um, but this room changed. Dana came running back here from the back room. She's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, what's going on back here?" Because like the whole house just got and I can't even describe it, but it was just I wanted to run out the door, like, I don't know. And I don't scare easy. I don't get
Right.
spooked easy.
What was the
So,
feeling like? Was it like a heaviness
oh, it
or
was horrible. Like something was watching me. Like it was like a whirlwind, buzzy, weird thing. Like kind of dizzy. Very, very hard to describe, but it was just disorienting. But you definitely there was something in here. Like, okay, we woke something up, and it's like, okay, who are you, and why are you getting involved in this? And it was, yeah,
right?
it was scary. And like I said, I don't scare easy, but that
As far as it, they always say also too, was there difference in temperature
I didn't notice that. No,
or
nope,
smell in the room?
nope.
A
I
lot
didn't
of people
notice
would
any
say
of that.
like there's funny odors,
Mhm. Yep.
um, and like you said, it would be and a heaviness because a lot of people say there's like heaviness
Yeah,
that
it
comes
was
over the
definitely that.
room. I mean,
Yep.
I know that like when you go on a regular investigation, you're gonna feel yeah like something's watching you,
Uh-huh.
or you'll get like a cold chill, or uh,
No, this was like I said, very disorienting, and I was scared. I was legit scared to death.
you
And
just felt the evil.
yeah, yep, yep. And it's I got the stuff, started praying. Because I always have holy water and in my rosaries up here on my desk,
Right,
and it's and we never got this client was in she was far away. I don't want to say where she was from, but so I never got to actually go to be in the room with her. But
right,
we did a lot of meetings with her trying to resolve, okay, what are we going to do? And, do the mental evaluation and, like I said, all that stuff. And she did all of it. She had actually worked with the church, with the real Catholic Church, and they were doing exorcisms on her, but she just all of a sudden skipped town because we talked to the church, we talked to deacons, we did our homework. And this
right.
was a legit possession case. It wasn't so and like I said, it just I don't know. She's better now, but she's still in a bad place. I don't think that, but she kind of, I don't want to talk to you guys anymore, that type thing, because we're trying to get her help. She just wanted us to come and do an exorcism. It's like we're not qualified.
Right.
We have no one qualified to do that. We tried to set her up with the Catholic Church, and the Catholic Church said, okay, we'll take her on, but you guys can't be involved because the church doesn't like paranormal investigators,
Right. Well, they're not gonna
because
team up with somebody else.
right.
It's
And I personally was fine with that, but some of the other team members weren't. But I was like, yeah, let's let them do their thing. Like, I mean,
right.
that's the best help for her. Why do we have to put our egos into it to where, well, no,
Exactly.
we're going to stay involved. No, that's not fair to
No,
her. So,
no, it's not.
yeah.
Not to mention it's dangerous for you guys.
Yeah.
And what's the surprise is that the church even sanctioned to have that done because it is really
Mhm.
hard
Yep. Yep.
to get
And
the
it's
Vatican to say yes.
yeah. So there's like I said, I mean, it was a legit Vatican case that she stopped doing, then went away off the radar for a while, but then came to us a few years later. So then we tried to
Wow.
get the same church involved, and they were like, well, this is what happened before, we're willing to do it again, but she's got to do what we say.
Right.
So you know in one of them, like I said, it's not, I mean, I'm sure some priests and some church will have paranormal investigators involved at certain points, but they don't, the official church does not have anything to do with ghosts and paranormal investigations and any of that stuff. So,
Exactly. Well,
yep,
because the Catholic believe you're not supposed to be looking
right.
for the dead.
Yep. Yeah. I have, I come from a Pentecostal family, and I have
Right.
family members that just, you're going to go to hell for doing what you do. And it's like,
Oh yeah.
I've,
Oh
I've
yeah.
always said, like, so in nothing against witches, but you want me, you're saying that you're a Christian. You want me to send this person to a witch, because if Christians don't get involved in helping these people, who else is left?
Right.
Wiccans, witches, all kinds of other stuff, which, you know, the Pentecostals are definitely against those type of people. So, I mean, and I'm not one that a lot of them think that any spirit is a demon, and I used to believe that way, but I don't anymore. I haven't believed that
Actually,
way
yes,
for a
I
long
know
time.
somebody that believes
Yeah.
that anything
Hmm.
is spirit or ghost involved is a
Yep.
demon.
Yep. And
And
I
I so my example was, okay, well, what if one of your loved ones comes to visit
yeah.
you? Are you telling me that that's also a demon? Because I've
Well,
had it
they'll
happen to an aunt of mine when after my grandfather passed away. He always smoked a pipe,
yeah.
and she had just got finished with a divorce, and she was in her kitchen,
Hmm.
and she's at the sink, and she could smell my grandfather's pipe.
Yeah.
And then she walked over back to her cupboard and couldn't smell it.
Hmm.
And then she went back to the sink, and there it was again. And all she says is, "Dad, if that's you, you're scaring me. Please go away."
Yeah.
And then the smell went away.
Hmm.
So what was that? The demon said,
Yeah.
"Well, I feel sorry for you. I'll leave you alone."
Well, what they'll say is that it's a demon mimicking your uncle that is trying to trick you, so it's going to do what you say. And I mean, there's
Right,
I've
right.
I've heard it all. But so I asked a pastor one day. And this guy is very, very knowledgeable in the Bible. Like, I mean, he knows it better than any other preacher I've ever seen. And I asked him, so what proof is there in the Bible that there's no afterlife? And there's one verse in Hebrews, I can't remember what it is. I wish I did, but it was something basically it said, it is appointed a man to die once, immediately he goes and is judged. So basically, that says that when you die, you immediately go to the judgment. There's no in between. You're not lingering around the
Exactly.
earth. But then I looked into it, a couple years after asking him that question, and it's kind of taken out of context. So but there's no other verse that he could tell me that
That pointed to that, right.
yeah. So
Oh, because I've been through that with a lot of people with religious discussion. You
right.
can have one passage
Hmm.
and 10 people can read it, and you'll get 10 different
Yeah.
definitions of what it
Yep.
means.
Yep. Yep. And I
And
think I
go
think the
ahead.
Bible's like that on purpose. I think it's meant to be gray in a lot of things
Because it
because
pretty much is just a guidebook to
yeah,
what is expected of
yep.
mankind.
And if you're a Christian, it's meant to be studied. It's not meant to just take this one verse, okay, this is your rule for that particular situation
Right,
and move on. It's meant to
right.
be, okay, what does this verse mean? Well, then it's pops up all over in all kinds of different
Then
places
you
and
have
it
to finish reading the
yeah.
entire
Yep.
section
Yeah.
because your explanation is right in there.
Yep.
Where, like you said, you have some just take that one passage
Yep.
and, oh, that's law. You
Yep.
didn't read the whole thing.
Yep. And it's you know, Christians, actually, all religions get blamed for a lot of stuff. Like, the Christians were killing people for years and, thousands of years and, because people didn't believe. And it's like, yeah, you're right, they were, but that's not anything that they got from God. That's that's man perverting that religion. That is not,
There
you
you
know,
go. There you go.
God. Yeah. So
'Cause that's pretty much
anyway,
what ruins it is man.
yep.
And you're
Yep.
proving it right now with saying about with the online demonologists and all
Yeah.
that. It's
Hmm.
man is ruining
Yep.
that.
Yep.
So even if you don't believe in the science, like I said, a lot of people don't believe in the
Yeah.
paranormal.
Yep.
But not for nothing, it's out there.
Hmm.
And someday somebody out there, you, Joe, somebody, the
Yeah.
famous Joe,
Yeah.
we're gonna catch something eventually.
Hmm.
And it's gonna be something that nobody can deny.
Yep.
The answer is there. It's just waiting for somebody to find it.
That's why the whole Cody and Satori thing is such a big deal because if they have the ability that they claim they have, that is groundbreaking 100% proof that we can communicate to spirits in the afterlife.
Exactly. That's a holy shit moment.
Yes. That is a very, very big claim that they're making. And that's why it's so controversial. And, you know, people need to know that that is legit,
Yeah.
because that's the biggest claim I think anybody's ever made, that we can communicate with the afterlife. That,
Yeah.
since I've been doing this. And,
Well, actually showing it
right.
and saying what they're doing is real.
Yep.
I mean, because you've had it, like I said, with the psychic mediums.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, I can talk to so and so, or I can do this or that. Well,
Yeah.
uh, my beef is with that is why is it that And I'm not saying that some people don't have a gift. They do.
Right. Oh, I know a lot of people that do. But
Um,
yeah.
all right, but when they're doing their thing and they're saying, "Oh, I'm getting a name that starts with a J." Well,
Mhm.
if you're actually communicating with that person, why can't they say, "Well, my name is John"?
Yeah. Yep. That's cold reading. Yeah, for sure.
I
Yep.
mean, you know,
hmm
it's the thing
But
I
then,
got with it. If you're really talking to them, they're going to tell you who they are and what they want.
yeah. But it's, the thing is with psychics, it's not a provable thing because it's all here. But with what Cody and Satori are doing, you could go into a lab and prove
Yes.
if they are doing it or if that is an ability that they have. I mean
Oh yeah.
that's something that could be tested in a lab. That's why
And
it's such a big
that's
thing.
what everybody's waiting for.
Right. And it'll
Their
never happen.
little to do that they did was just a big slap in the
Oh my
face.
God. It made it worse.
Yeah, it did.
It yeah, it was if
Because if you honestly wanted to prove that you were real,
mhm,
take Kenny up on his offer or go to some
yep,
laboratory and get hooked up,
yep,
and
yeah,
they hook you up with electrodes
mhm,
and it'll,
yep,
measures muscle movement.
yeah,
So if they're doing something,
yep,
it will register.
yep. And for me, one of the worst things that can happen to people is to be accused of something that they didn't do. Like if someone tells me that I faked something and I know I didn't do it, I would do whatever it took. I certainly wouldn't call my buddy and say, "Hey, let's go stick me up in an attic and let's prove my ability." With so many ways that it can be, faked. I mean, it's just the way they did it. Like if I made a list of how not to do something, they checked all the boxes. I mean, that
That
was
was
the worst.
totally it.
Yep. And then when Jason put that video out for 5 hours and took it down, it's like, dude, that looks so bad. What, you know, I
That's who I
understand why
feel
he took
sorry
it down.
for. I
Yeah.
feel sorry for her father.
And that's the thing too. So I've wondered this. If that was my kid and I knew that their ability was real, I would be their number one advocate to prove that it
Oh,
is.
yeah.
I wouldn't have them go to these goofballs from uh, Dead Air Paranormal or
Yeah, I don't know
Rhode
who those
Island,
people I
whatever
don't
they're
even know
called.
who those people are.
Yeah. But I mean, it would be my mission, be like, look, this shit is real. I'm going to prove it to you guys.
Right.
But so the fact that he stayed so far away and hands off, it's like he knows something's up, I think, or
Well, I know
really
I think he
suspects.
put it out there pretty much, well, because 'cause they're adults.
Yeah.
So what they put out there, they're gonna have to answer for. So
hmm
he's trying to stay neutral.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's his daughter. Of course he's gonna defend his
Yeah.
daughter.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Anybody would do that.
Yep.
But also, if I was the parent, I'd say, "Listen, you're setting yourself up.
Yeah.
So either you come clean or
Yep.
prove that's real,
Yep.
and then everybody will back off."
Yeah. I mean,
But
there's probably some that would always say no, but you're going to have that with no matter what.
oh,
So who
yeah.
cares? But
I mean, well, just like the same thing, all, the video that was out today, the Ouija brothers
yeah.
and the angry Cajun guy
Oh,
there.
we got something to say about that. We're working on something for that.
Oh, he is just a mean,
Oh, he's
nasty waste
yeah.
of skin. And I hope he hears it. That's exactly what I think you are.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's teams and YouTubers that I don't like, but it's more of an eye roll. Like, oh, you're kidding me. This is ridiculous. But that guy's just a dick. Like
He is. He's
he is
rotten to
just a
the
jerk.
soul. And
And
he
then
didn't debunk anything.
right.
He was just reacting.
And Joe has the best video of how hypocritical he is that Joe did, I think he said 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, they put
Of
that up there.
yeah, of him using an app. And because I've been watching this guy's investigation because he comes at you like he's this great paranormal investigator and everybody else sucks. I looked at his videos. All he does is walk around in a cemetery
Yeah,
or he'll walk around a town. Like,
yeah.
dude, you're not investigating anything. What this
He's
is,
just out on a stroll.
yeah, calling this pissed Dana off bad. So we were watching one of his spirit box sessions in a cemetery, and he comes up to this conclusion that this particular gravestone, you know, that ghost was following him around. He's calling him a
Uh,
bitch. He's calling him all kinds of nasty stuff. You following me, you little bitch? I'm like, what is wrong with you, you disrespectful piece of shit? Like,
He's
oh, it
just
was horrible.
mean,
I was so
mean
mad.
person.
Yeah.
Uh, and,
Yep.
and also, I've only seen a couple of his things because
Yeah.
yeah, I don't appreciate his character at all.
No.
And the one thing I watched he did with someone else that I have known, actually, you guys all probably know, but I'm not going to mention the name, is a fake paranormal group.
Mhm.
They've been caught. They've been caught out there. There was a big scandal a couple years back involving this team,
Hmm.
and he's like best buddies with these people.
So he hasn't called him out, or
So no, because I would love to put on there. Well, how about
yeah.
you debunk your buddies there?
Mhm.
Oh no, they're real. No, they're not.
Yeah. Yep.
And of course, if I say who it is, you guys will know. But
Yeah, you have to tell me later.
not gonna call it out
'Cause
here.
I don't
But
know
I
who
will
you're talking
call
about.
out, yeah, the angry Cajun boy.
Yeah.
Go get laid or something.
Yeah.
Sorry,
He
guys, but geez, how can you
I
be
don't think
so
he
rotten?
that's probably why he doesn't get laid, because he's just so nasty. He just looks like, seriously, like, just he looks like just this internet troll. Like, I can, like, he just sits there and just bitches about people all day, every day,
Yeah,
24/7. Like,
and people love him, but people love that kind of crap, the drama crap. All
yeah, yep,
they're
yep.
all into
There's
that, and I always try to be nice, and I
I
will voice an opinion.
yeah.
I only go so far because
I mean, and with and tell me what you think. Like, I mean, I had fun with that twins video. I wasn't nasty or mean, or maybe I was and I just don't know it. But that last video that I did about
oh, that
twins,
was funny,
I just thought I'm just, like they say in the UK, I was taking the piss. Like,
right?
I don't hate them. I
No,
just, I don't like what they do, but it doesn't make me mad. You know?
what? It's the same thing is because everything is a demon with them,
Yes.
and not for nothing. I think. You see, I want to know. I'll
Yeah.
make a video on it. Oh, I just, I really think they would be really good at it if they put the effort in.
Yep.
All they
And
do is
even
showboat. It's all about the show.
Sam and Colby and all those guys, a lot of them. Well, I can't, because the twins have been caught faking, but I think a lot of it is they're just wrong and don't know what they're doing. It's not, like, I think they do believe the flashlights are a legit thing. I don't know how in 2024 no one can know how easily debunkable that is, and it's all
Right.
physics. But maybe they don't know. I like Exploring with Josh. That's an example of one that just, I think he didn't know a lot of stuff.
Right.
And he's recently found out. He's like, oh shit, I didn't know any of that, And
Exactly.
so now he's kind of like, okay,
Rethinking how to do it.
exactly. Yep.
That's
So
why it's important for everybody and all the debunkers
mhm,
and the community that we're involved in. And that's why I like doing with this what I'm doing
yep.
because I want to get all you guys on here.
Yeah.
Educate people. Like I said with the demonology stuff. Everybody goes, "Oh, well, I can go take that course." And no, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
And not for and I mean, thank God I've never had an experience like that,
Hmm.
and I don't want one.
No.
But uh, these people who purposely go out and try to invoke this towards themselves,
Yeah.
or even because once you do that, you're opening a door,
Hmm.
and then that thing is going to be in that space or follow you home,
Yep.
and the joke's over. Then now, what are you
Yeah.
doing?
Yep. I really think, like, Zach Baggins has had demonic attachments before, because that's all he did was provoke
Right?
demons. That's in So I don't for a second doubt that he really has had some serious problems and attachments. I believe Aaron, when he said, it caused his, I think Aaron said he got divorced because of it, and this and that and the other thing. But
Yes.
those guys were, but they were so anxious to get that cool TV show.
Yes.
And, let's be honest, everybody watches it when it says demonic, or used to. Now it's so common that, like, okay, whatever. So you found another freaking demon. You found one last week too. You never showed it, even though you
Well,
said you
every
caught it on
day I
camera.
want to check
Right.
in the list on
Right.
YouTube. I was attacked
Yep.
by a demon,
Yep.
and you see the 3 scratches.
Yep. But people that, like, So when Zach Baggins started really going all dark all the time, I wasn't watching stuff on YouTube. So I was like, ooh, it was interesting stuff to me. It was interesting shows, but being a Christian, I'm watching it like, dude, you guys are playing with something you shouldn't be playing with. You guys are
I
pushing the
used to watch
envelope.
it too, yeah,
Yeah.
and I terrible to say, I used to say to myself when they say, "Oh, well, throw something at me," and I used to think to myself, "Please, something, just throw a rock,
Yeah. Yeah.
nail him in the face or something just to shut him up."
Yep.
And,
We,
it's terrible, but
me
after
and
a
Dana,
while, you get tired of hearing it, and it's
me and Dana watched they got that show House Calls where Zach doesn't go on the investigations, and they went to that Jody Dean's house. He's a YouTuber. He hangs around with.
oh,
He's a
boy.
so anyway. So I don't know how they got duped into thinking that his house was actually haunted. But anyway, they went and they did an episode there, but Zach wasn't investigating. He was at home. But it was like, okay, this show is actually kind of watchable without Zach being there in the investigations,
Oh,
because they had
he's
some,
a total
yeah, but they had some interesting stuff. And they're like, okay, let's go turn the power off and see if this happens again. And I'm like, okay, that's a good move, but you didn't turn all the power off because your tech guy is still out there fully powered up with all of their monitors and
exactly,
all this shit. So you guys did not turn all the power off,
exactly.
but
Well,
they at least made it
I know
look.
a group that worked with them,
Mm,
and, they did believe that they were legit until the time for the filming of the show,
yeah.
and when they seen the whole production crew show
Yep.
up and how they set up the place they were
Yeah.
investigating, it was like somebody just, like, pulled the rug out from under them.
Yep. Yep. One Zach's a
Uh,
filmmaker. He went to
yeah,
filmmaking
and
school,
that's what it is, that's all
and
it's
he's
about.
supposedly Beardo said the other day somebody told him that he's worth 100 million bucks. So
Yeah.
that's motivation to fake stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So, it's but like I
But
said, a lot of them, I think a lot of them do start out legit,
yeah, I do
and
too.
then
I
when
think
those dollar same thing
mhm.
on YouTube.
Yeah.
Everybody starts out with good intentions until the money starts rolling in. And then when you get the big dollar signs, then it's like, well,
Yep.
I could do this
Or
and they won't know.
or if you see a team running around using an app to to drive the entire investigation,
Right.
and you're more entertaining doing it, but that was your training on how to be a paranormal investigator was
Right.
watching
Right.
that YouTuber. Of course you're going to make the same mistakes. So I said, like exploring with Josh, he had real people say, look, this isn't how that works, and show him how things work. And I really think he had an open enough mind to be like, yeah, you guys are right. Damn. Like I just thought I was doing it right, but he wasn't, so
No. Well, like they were talking today, well, about the video there with the Ouija brothers.
yeah.
How they're using the Ghost Tube
Mhm.
app.
Yep.
And but they say right on the disclaimer,
Yep.
it's an experimental thing.
Hmm.
So and I've used it, and I always say it's an experiment,
Yep.
and I want to put it to the test and see. I used the ghost tube once, and I think you heard me say this story. And when I went to a residence, and I didn't turn anything on, I just downloaded it on the
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
there,
Yep.
and I ended up just putting it on the table and let it run, and didn't say anything, and it come up with the name
Hmm.
Charlie, and I'm like, oh, okay, and I shut it off.
Yeah.
And then when I went to go speak with the woman, first thing I asked her is, "Who's Charlie?"
Yeah.
She goes, "Well, it's my brother who passed away 2 months ago."
Hmm.
She goes, "You're sitting in his chair."
Yeah.
She goes, "Why?" I said, "Oh, okay." And
Yeah.
I just goes, "Well, I needed to know who Charlie was."
Right. Right.
So I was actually talking with Crow about that story, and he says, "What you need to do," he says, "go back there,
Hmm.
do the same exact thing, and set it on the table, turn it on, and see if I get Charlie again."
Yeah. Yeah. That would be
That would
cool.
freak me out.
Yeah, it would. Can I get 2 minutes? Can I take a break real quick?
Sure, go ahead, 2
All right.
minutes.
I'm old. I have to go potty.
Call a nature break. It's a call a nature break. Joe, if you'd like to join, you're more than welcome. Thanks for adding the link, Fantasy. I couldn't get it to go through on through the StreamYard. Wow. This cold's got my brain all in jumbles. So yeah, if you wanted to join, Joe, you're more than welcome. Anybody, actually, if you want to join, you're more than welcome. It's a pretty wide open subject here as far as the demons go, because it's so popular nowadays that either everybody's been scratched, poked, or prodded by a demon, and I guess it's big money in the demon field. I'm waiting on Dawn, and I got to get in the shower. Waiting on Amazon. What did you buy us? Hopefully, at least you get it delivered to your house. Every time I have to go chase mine down, they always deliver to the neighbor's house. Apparently, the Amazon people don't know the difference between a 6 and a 4. There he is. That was quick.
Yeah. You know,
Hour
don't know
key.
I don't know if you got my contract in time, but it says I get a break every hour. So
Oh no, I must have missed that. I'll have to
oh,
read
damn.
that fine print.
I'll have my people forward it to you again.
Oh,
Just
okay.
kidding.
Thank you.
Okay, there's another channel. Hang on, let me think. Do I really want to tell this story? Because it's a channel that's under fire lately. It has to do with my haunted hotel.
Let it rip. Because don't they have demon problems also?
I don't think so. No, I'm not going to tell this yet because that might be a violation of the Warren Foundation that I was part of, because it was an encounter that we had with him, and I just wasn't impressed. I mean,
you could skirt around.
He's got a very, very massive ego, and that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to get in trouble.
Oh, the haunted hotel guy.
Yeah, Randy Moss, or is it Randy? No, it's not Randy. What the hell? Danny. Yeah, Danny. He's got a really, really big ego, and he doesn't like people talking about him no matter what. So,
well, we just talked about him, and he'll just have to deal.
Yeah. He doesn't know who. Well, he knows who I am. I take it.
Yeah, they don't know who I am, but I'm sure somebody will spread the word.
Yeah. I'm surprised he hasn't come back at the side-eye guy yet, because Seg went at him pretty hard.
Hey, you get what you get.
Yeah. Yep.
You're on YouTube. It's out there.
Yep.
So if you can't handle somebody coming after you, and because everybody gets ripped apart at one time or another.
Yeah. Yep.
So you just say, well, yeah, thanks for stopping by, and whatever.
The funniest thing to me, so I mean, when I did that video on the twins, I fully expected their fans to come at me and you suck and you're a jerk and this and that and the other thing. I never, for the life of me, imagined that they would actually think that I was the twins' brother, which is what I claimed to be in the video.
Right.
There are so many comments, and me and Dana, we filmed an episode last night that I'm working on editing. How many people thought that I was actually their brother, and they were pissed at me because I was a bad brother because I kept talking over them. I'm like, it is so clear to me that I was not. They thought it was a twin paranormal episode. And I was in it.
Enjoyed it. It was good.
It was so cheesy though, that like, how does anybody think that I was actually part of a twin episode? Like
it was the hair.
Oh my, I was laughing so hard at these comments.
It was the hair. The hair gave you away.
Oh, it was so funny.
Because I remember when I was seeing it, I'm thinking, what does he got on his head?
Yep.
Yeah, and I see what you were doing. I'm thinking, oh, okay, that's freaking hysterical.
And people in the comments are like, we don't like this mountain fella. You guys need to get rid of him. I'm like, I'm just laughing my ass off. So if you guys have seen the video, go back and just look at the comments, because it's
here's what it is. The comments go by so fast.
Yeah. Yep.
And so here you are, you're trying to read and you're trying to watch, and then
yeah.
Yep. I miss half of what's going on, and then I got to scroll back down.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, we can pop back into this. It's Actually, we already mentioned it, but again, I'm going to mention it. How important does a person's faith play in this kind of profession?
So like it's a massive part, whether you're a Christian, Buddhist, it doesn't matter what your faith is. But like, so we did a case where it wasn't a demonic case or anything like that, but it was a very, very dark, nasty entity. We helped the Toledo Ghost Hunter Society. It's a good friend of mine. We helped them on this. But one of the things that we had given him early on was we told him to sage his house every 2, 3 days for a while. And it wasn't helping. And finally, I asked him one day, I'm like, well, do you really think that the sage worked or was going to work? And he was like, well, no, not really. I'm like, well, that's the problem there. Your intent, you didn't believe in it. You didn't have faith that that was going to cleanse energy in your house and
Right,
this and that and the other thing. So if you don't have faith in what you're doing to get rid of things, it's not going to work.
right.
I mean, in my opinion and experience, it doesn't do any bit of good to walk around your house with sage and say, get out of my house or whatever, however much nicer you say it. If you don't believe that that's going to work, it's not going to work.
Right.
And that's, you know, so yeah, faith plays a huge part in what you
Yeah.
do. And it doesn't matter what your faith is.
No, yeah, I agree. Yeah, as long as you have a good faith base
Mm-hmm.
within yourself, of course, you get a lot of because I've had people ask me questions. Same thing going towards faith.
Yep.
Am I a bad Christian because I don't go to church all the time,
No.
or I go to church? And I go, well, no,
Yep.
because no matter where you are, if you're speaking about God, He's there. That's
Yep.
church.
And that's a problem too with Christians that they is that, you know, so the Christian religion, Christ died on the cross for your sins. All you have to do is have faith that that is true and was resurrected in, you know,
Right.
the story. But Christians have turned the New Testament into a rule book. And it says straight up in there, those that live by the law will die by the law. That means that if you turn this into a rule book, it is impossible to live that way.
Exactly.
That's why you need the faith, and that's why the sacrifice was made. So, you know, I can't stand these people that run around and just, want to beat you over the head with the Bible and say,
Yeah.
you're going to hell because blah blah blah. It's no, that's you're missing the whole freaking point of it.
Right.
You've just turned the New Testament into the new law and ruined the whole thing.
And if you don't follow that law to the
Right.
letter,
Yep.
you're going to burn for it. And
Hmm.
that's what they believe.
Yep.
So, like I say, when I was doing paranormal investigations and research, and even if you don't do any investigations and you're just educating yourself
Yeah.
online,
Hmm.
that's a sin. Same thing like, oh, what we're talking about now, demons. You're not supposed to do
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
Well, how are you going to get educated and educate others if you don't talk about it?
I mean, Jesus talked about demons like
Yes.
several times.
Sat there and taught and
Hmm.
explained it. And people need things explained.
Right.
And
Yep.
I don't care what kind of education you do have. Not everybody knows everything. How many
Hmm.
people do walk around and go, I can tell you all about this or that or this. But people in the field that we're dabbling in,
Yeah.
these are things that we're researching and we're
I
getting everybody's input.
I
Uh,
have I have changed almost all of my beliefs since I started doing this. Like because I'm very, very open minded. Like um I forget the author, but it's the Blue Book of Witches or something like that. But I have that because if witchcraft is a part of the field, I should at least know a little bit
know
about
something
it.
about it. Exactly.
Right. So it's, I study things that, I have no desire to be a witch whatsoever or be any part of that, but I
Exactly.
people can be what they want to be. And I do need to know a little bit about it to deal
But you're
with.
getting the education. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And
Yes, I
same
do
with,
have. Yeah, I've got a book here too, witchcraft,
I think it's
because I
Bucknell.
wanted to understand
Yeah.
what the belief was and what the practice was. And I mean, it's
Yep.
just like I have 5, 6 different Bibles, but I
Hmm.
also have the Book of Mormon.
Yep.
So I mean, you're not going to understand
Right.
these people and their beliefs unless you read it and look at it.
Yeah. And I
You know,
can't
just
think of
because
an
you,
example offhand, but how many times have you been told something says this, but it doesn't actually say it, but it's a common belief that, you know, this whatever says this about a certain topic. And it's like, well, if you actually look at it, no, it really doesn't say that, you know,
right.
like
Well, that's because it's
take the,
been translated so many different
yep,
times.
yep,
Everybody's getting a different
yep.
translation.
In
I think they
non-Christians,
happened one time with I was watching, I think it was Beardo,
mhm,
and somebody was in there talking about in one video that he was going over, and they were discussing uh doing a prayer, the Lord's prayer, and they said the older version of it.
mhm,
And even Beardo goes, "Well, that's not how it goes." And
yeah,
then I typed it, I said, "No, that is
mhm,
the original prayer." I
yeah,
says, "Just as the years went on, they changed words."
yep,
He goes, "Oh, I didn't know that." So
yeah,
it's see that again. So if you're dabbling and doing research to understand this stuff. So like
mhm,
the education for the demonology and all that. You know, how are you gonna and how are you gonna understand the science and all that goes behind this subject
mhm.
in a 3-hour course?
It's impossible. It's like I said, that is a to be an actual demonologist or an exorcist, that is a hands-on course. That
Oh
that
yeah.
that's an apprenticeship program because when you're dealing with something like that from, let's say from the Christian side of it again, like humans aren't meant to deal with that. So you can't just get qualified online to do it and then go do it. Like you have to be, you have to assist on some. What's Faith saying?
I'm saying here, I feel like as if we get older, we really start to value the idea of a belief of one kind or another. Myself, I tend to naturally lean towards
Mm-hmm.
Christianity, but I also am drawn to more spiritual. Yes, yeah, I totally understand that because same thing. I was
Yeah.
raised a Maronite Catholic, and as I got older, I realized, and I was watching the EWTN channel
Mm-hmm.
and watching all the programs on there. And one program, it was a monk. I forgot what his name was. He made a statement where he made it a practice. And here, this is a Catholic monk
Mm-hmm.
going to all different churches throughout his lifetime and sitting through services and speaking to the priests and the ministers. And he goes, that's how we learn.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad thing that you do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's you're educating yourself. It's all the word of Christ. It's just
Yep.
that it's told in different forms.
Yep.
And I also believe the Native Americans,
Yep.
when they're talking about, the Great Spirit, who's the Great Spirit?
Yeah. It
God.
exactly. It all points to the same thing. It's just I think the different religions are separated by how you get there.
How you describe it.
Right. Yep.
And so, like I said, yes, Julie's saying she's more spiritual. And
Mm-hmm.
I do the Native Americans, it's more a spiritual thing. It's the Mother Earth,
Yep.
the universe, like I said, the Great Spirit. So they calling it different things,
Yep.
but it's without all of these things that they are talking about, we couldn't survive as a human race.
Mm-hmm.
You
Here's
gotta
a
have them. You gotta have all of the earth, the wind, the
Yep.
rain, all of that.
And here's so here's a little story about why it's good to know about other religions other than your own. So we did a case where these people lived on a reservation and you can't, so the assumption is okay, this is probably some kind of Native American spirit, whatever. You can't go at that from the Christian belief system.
Right.
You have to go at that case with what Native Americans believe in their, you know, their religion, if you want to call it that. So to resolve the case, we had somebody say, well, let's, the haunting was going on in their basement of their house. Everybody was freaked out to go there, blah blah blah. So we had them put up just a few little items down there, put some maize, some tobacco, certain things that were traded in Native American
Right.
history. We told them to clean up their property because their property was kind of a mess, plant some trees, things like that. So all of that was to appease Mother Earth in some kind of Native American spirit, and it all went away. It
Yeah.
was, you know,
See.
it's, but like if I went in there with the holy water and the crucifix, that wasn't going to do anything.
No, because it's not
Right.
anything that
Yep.
that belief system was
Right.
involved with.
Yep.
I had a similar occasion where my niece, they live in Alabama and out in the country, and she wanted me to do a tarot reading for her. She
Mm-hmm.
said because there was strange things going on, and I said, "Well, yeah, I can." I says, "But not for nothing. It, tarot is entertainment purposes, pretty much.
Yeah.
Nothing's written in stone when you do readings. It changes from moment to moment."
Mm-hmm.
I says, "But what's going on?" And she says, "Something is following her around the house and property." She goes, "It doesn't come in the house, but it looks through the windows."
Yeah.
So I says, "Okay, tell me about the property." And she goes, "Well, it used to be an Indian burial
Yep.
ground, and the farmer bought it, and he put the houses up and was farming on this land." I says, "Well, I'll tell you right now, don't go to the minister." I said,
Yeah.
"You need to contact." I forgot
A shaman.
the Indians that were in the area. I forgot their
Okay.
names of their group, but I said, "You have to go and get the shaman of that tribe
Mm-hmm.
and have him come out and settle the earth." I said, "'Cause obviously they're upset at what's going on there,
Yeah.
but he's not crossing the line and coming into the house.
Yep.
So he's not upset with you, but he's drawn to you."
Mm-hmm.
I says, "And that's pretty much if you go and you have them come cleanse the property." I
Yeah.
says, "It would settle it down."
Yep.
I says,
And
"'Cause they
we've
go, well, we contacted the church. Don't do that because they're not coming."
Yep. And I found personally in those kind of cases, like Native American type cases, burial grounds where they do that, it's it comes down to respecting and making an offering or some kind of appeasement, or just,
Right.
and everybody says when you're dealing with spirits, talk to them like you would a normal human.
Sure.
So if you're going to say, get the fuck out of my house, and that's not going to work. Like, what kind of resolution can we come to? Like, if that makes
Anger,
sense.
anger, right.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
so yeah, if you do it in that certain way. So
Yep.
um I don't know if of course they ended up moving. So I don't think they
Mhm.
ever contacted anybody.
Yeah.
But it didn't follow them. So
Hmm.
I told her it's something that's connected pretty much to the property. I said,
Hmm.
because if it's not, because she says she would see it, his hair, hot mess.
Yeah.
She says she would see it in the window, but it
Hmm.
wouldn't come inside. So I told them most of that I go, it has to do with the property.
Yeah. Yep. And
Um,
sometimes it's, assuming ghosts are real and all of that other stuff with the residential cases. Sometimes it's, whatever spirits are bothering people, it's a curiosity thing. It's not anything malevolent or malicious. Although if you see somebody looking in your window that's not really there, it's going to scare the
right.
hell out of you.
Oh yeah,
So,
she said it was
it's,
dark,
yeah,
so
but
it was
it's,
scary.
yeah, but it's not always that. It's just they're trying to figure you out too, probably just like you're trying to figure who they are,
Right?
you
They're
know?
probably thinking, well, what are you doing here?
Yeah, like the movie The Others. I've always
Right.
thought that's there's I think there's more reality to that than fiction. That's my personal
You
belief.
never know.
I think I think the ghosts think we're the ghosts, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, because a lot of you hear stories where a lot of people think
Yeah.
that they don't know that they've passed on.
Yep.
So they're still involved and they're still hanging out and,
Yep.
who knows? That's just the thing.
That was a
Everything is always just such a big mystery,
yeah.
and, I mean, eventually, we're all gonna find out at the end, hopefully,
Yep. Yep.
but,
Well, we already
it
know
is
they like the tapping. That's we've learned that here in the
yeah,
last
the
6 months.
tapping, and
In
they
the
like the
Ouija board.
alphabet.
Yes, they love A, B.
Oh,
I've
come
watched so
on.
much of those guys. I have gone to sleep with that voice in my
Oh,
head.
that's terrible,
A,
that's terrible,
B. Oh, it is bad.
that's terrible. Well, I
Yep.
always say if I ever have to hear the alphabet one more time, I'm
Yep.
gonna just freak right out.
Yep. And that's That's another thing too. Like in the videos that I do, like there's so much research that I do in a lot of the content that I make. It's
Right.
it's like, how did you spend 40 hours making that 35-minute video? Well, it's you have no idea how much research I've done. Like I'm a big research junkie. You know, so
You need to
these,
be.
yeah, these fake exorcists and things like that. Like I know what I'm talking about. I've looked enough of them up that like they don't showcase their education background because they
Right.
don't have it. They don't explain how they got this massive title because it's not real. They just decided one day I'm an archbishop, in my church that I started. And there's so many of them that do it. There's so many.
And the thing that makes I'm curious about is they do this and they're playing around. And if it is a real situation, how many of them had stuff go home with them? And did they have enough smarts to realize what they did?
I don't know, because
Big.
like let's say you believe in the Christian beliefs and blah blah blah. Like they are doing the devil's work by deceiving people.
Right.
So I don't think the devil's going to mess with them that much. I think he's totally fine with them doing what they're doing because you know, he's led them away from the real God, and so that's why they do what they do.
And
Or
then
that's not
yeah,
why, but the devil's perfectly
well, like
content
you
with
said,
that, so we're not
they're
going to
doing
scare
his
him.
work.
Yeah, yep. So,
Oh, jeez. I mean, all right, now as far as you, when you because you do a lot of residentials and all that, have you
mhm.
have you run into a lot of cases where this kind of thing goes on?
The demonic stuff,
The demonic stuff.
yeah, no, nope. It's I've done.
So
I
you're telling
can't.
me it hasn't been like every other day?
No, 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 not at all. I've done well over 100 cases, residential cases, and strongly suspect that I've encountered it twice. And I've there's been some, say, nasty spirits that like to mimic it, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Um, but it's not the same thing. It's not the real deal, and you can deal with those. But it's extremely rare. It certainly isn't every location that we go to and
Right.
put out once a week for a YouTube episode. That's
And
all.
yeah, and you're not running through the house screaming that you got scratched.
No, no, because that's the last thing you're going to do in a real encounter. If those guys ever really encountered something demonic, they would stop doing this, or they would stop making the content that they're making, because it would scare the shit out of them so
And I'm saying
bad.
I think that they would shit their pants
Yes,
literally
yes,
and
yep,
go running out the door.
yep, yep. I
'Cause I know
know. I
that's
think,
as I'd be running.
yeah, I think last week Joe Frankie was in here. When we were chatting last week, he was in the chat.
Right.
Joe Frankie is a big dude, and he's been doing this for, I think, 40 years or so. But when something throws a guy like that across the room,
Wow.
imagine one of the twins being launched like that. That's not a fun episode. They're not like, that's a life changing experience, and and Joe would not lie to me about that at all.
Right. Actually, I
So,
never even thought about it. We should have had him join us with this.
yeah.
Seeing that he had those experiences as well, we could have picked his brain as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, that would be karma. Wouldn't it be karma? You are so right, Julie. It would be.
Yep.
'Cause
Yep.
that's what I'm saying. When they say that, "Oh, do throw this at me or throw me up against the wall," and you're just like, "Come on, just
Yep.
do it, do it, do it."
Yep.
And then they would stop saying that because you know that they don't
Oh
mean
yeah.
it.
Yep. Because once you get hit like that, like it's, because I used to tell people, I want to be scratched sometime, or I want to be pushed. Like I need to know for myself that really happens.
It's something's there.
Yep. But
I
now
know I'd
that,
say, "Well, pull my hair or touch me," but I didn't
yep.
know.
No, I've wanted to be scratched. I've done that. This was a long time ago, because I've changed my
Right,
opinion of that now. It's like, okay, I've seen enough. That's a stupid desire to have. Like you don't need to have that happen. You know.
right.
So,
And,
and Joe,
yeah, and anything else, like you say, if you're inviting them to
yeah,
touch you, then
yep,
that gives them the opportunity to hang on and go home with you.
yeah, Yep.
So that's I think I don't think it's a good idea at all. But they do it all the time.
Hmm.
I mean, you've seen it. I've seen it. We've all seen it.
Like I said, there was a time when I was younger at doing this where I had some kind of attachment for 4, 5,
Ha!
6 months.
Joe's right.
Yeah.
This is if the twins weigh probably 100. I know they're skinny, skinny. If something demonic was to throw one of them, they'd be launched into space.
Yeah.
I believe that one. But
Hmm.
that would be a show to watch.
Yeah.
The
And
launching.
I think too, I think if anything like that ever happened to them, I think they would become real after that. Because like,
Scared straight.
yeah, it's like we've been faking this for so long, but this shit really happened. Like, I
Yep.
don't want that to happen again. So what do we what do we got to do here? You know?
Yep. Yeah, I tell you, what is it? Julie says space would be good, means that we don't have to suffer. Suffer their crap. I know. And I know it's all for the entertainment value,
Yeah.
for the clicks and this whatever. But you just look at it there, and everybody. I get a lot of people say, "Well, have you seen this group? And have you seen that group?" I said,
Yeah.
"I'm sorry, I just can't watch."
I get that
Because
all
a
the
lot
time
of them
too.
make me wanna, my brain to explode.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Yep.
If I
Yep.
wanna have a good laugh, then I've got, some old faithfuls that I used to watch till I found out they were fake,
Yeah.
and I watch them every now and then because they're entertaining,
Yep. I
but
there's two channels that I've come across recently, and you've probably seen them too. But that Dawson Toller and
yes,
Nightmare Nation. So those guys, they get the toys out, but they're not faking stuff. They're not overreacting. They are just experimenting in their own way, but they're making it
right,
entertaining. And
right,
I
yes,
love
that it is
watching.
entertaining.
Yes, I love watching their stuff. Like that's cool. I just really enjoy watching those
Hey,
guys.
so he was just on a live with, I believe Joe and them guys,
Yeah,
and
it
they were
was.
breaking him on him about him always
Oh,
being
they
in
were
a
busting his
car.
balls. Yeah, they were busting his balls. It was. I was on that show too for a little bit. It was with Seg the
Oh,
other
that's
day.
right, yep, yep,
Yep,
yep.
yep.
You guys
And
should
that
tell him,
was
say, "What is" he's actually a homeless paranormal investigator.
yeah. But
He's always
but
in his car.
how cool is it to see a kid like that go on an investigation with Kenny Biddle?
I
And
know.
those two can respectfully argue with each other and break each other's balls in this and that and the other thing. But at the end of the day, it's not hateful. Like if Dawson has a
Exactly.
question for Kenny, Kenny will, okay, dude, give me a call with, I'm happy to answer. It's
Right,
there's a respect thing, even though they disagree on a lot of stuff.
right. Well,
You
a
know, it
lot of people disagree with stuff that Kenny says or does, but he's honest about it, and
yeah.
it's
Yep.
not personal.
Right.
It's
Yep.
just fact, and,
And he can
and you gotta respect that.
the one thing that gets overlooked a lot though in paranormal is personal experiences.
Yes.
They get crapped on. Like I've had personal experiences. It's not on camera. You could say it could be this, but I'm telling you right now, I know that shit was paranormal. I just
Yep.
I can't prove it. I didn't capture it
Same
on camera.
here. I've had it
Yep.
here,
Yep.
and,
And it's in you know Kenny Biddle will, and people like him, and I respect the hell out of him, so I'm not shit talking him, but he'll say, well, it could have been this or it could have been that. And you're right, maybe it could have been, but I'm telling you, it wasn't that. I can't prove to you it wasn't that, but it wasn't. So,
right.
but when it comes to equipment and things like that, like there is no better resource than Kenny Biddle, on how that stuff works and why it's just, he takes things apart. The cat balls that he took apart for paranormal.
Excuse me, right?
Bless you. But he took the cat balls apart for Josh's video, Paranormal Seekers, and he showed how the circuit works. And he showed why sometimes they go off like crazy, other times they don't go off. It's all in how you set them because you'd have to watch a video to see what I'm talking about.
Right, no, no, yeah, because I did get parts of that because, uh, like I said, I have a cat ball here,
Hmm.
um, and not for nothing, when you see them all on these programs, like, people wind blows and they go off.
Yeah. Yep.
Excuse me, the one that I have, you could beat it with a hammer and it doesn't go
Yep.
off, so I don't know if it worked.
And that's one conclusion that he came to too.
Excuse me, but it's not that sensitive.
Yep, it's all in the brand that you buy, the way that they're sitting. It's Kenny goes over all that. It's it's not a
Yeah,
paranormal tool.
I think was it he said it? I forget who said it. Somebody said something about the magnet or something, the way the magnet sits in it.
It's
And
it's like a rectangular case, and there's two balls in it that
right.
if they make contact with one of the edges, that's what sets them off. So if you've got that setting on a level surface, it wouldn't take much to move one of the balls inside to make contact with the circuit to make it light up. But if you've got that thing, say, flipped over to where both balls are sitting down at the bottom, there's no way little movement will make them connect to anything. It makes them
Okay.
harder to go off. So it's hard to, I guess it's hard to describe without, like, a visual thing where, like I said, he took them apart and showed you exactly how the circuit works, and it's like, it makes sense.
Ah, thank
Yep.
you, Sensei.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm thinking here, all these people show these balls are all flashing all over the place. And
Yeah.
I said, my cat smacks and it doesn't do nothing. So
Yep. Yep.
what the heck kind of good thing is that?
Yep.
Guys, give me just a quick second. I want to go refill my water so I can stop choking to death.
And then when you get back, I'm gonna go refill my water too.
Okay, hold on. I'll be right back.
So if anybody in the chat has questions, go ahead and ask. I mean, definitely don't want to discount you guys or not include you people. I know I'm newer here in this community, and there's a lot of things people don't know about me, and that's fine because I'm slowly breaking it out, or I guess revealing things. There was a lot of stuff. So Joe was on this show, I don't know, maybe a couple months ago, and there was a lot of stuff that I've never heard Joe answer about, how he got his start and how he met Matt. There was a lot of things that I'd never heard him talk about before. And it was, fascinating to hear, Joe's roots.
Okay, sorry about that.
I was talking, I promise.
All that talking, and then you got the cold, it dries out the throat, and then I start choking like a crazy person.
Yeah, so give me a second. I want to refill my rum and water.
Rum and water.
No, it's not water.
Rum. Why is the rum always gone? That's what we want to know. I don't know how these guys could do that. I could say, sit and have a drink, and boy, I'd probably be plastered by the time the show would be over. That would be entertaining. So that's probably why I don't do that. Remember, if you guys have any questions or anything that you want to add to this topic or anything else, just throw it out there. You know that we bounce around from one thing to the other, trying to make it a little more entertaining than just, strict scientific fact or belief. So, shoot out some questions for Jeff that he might be able to answer because he's definitely got more experience in this than I do. And of course, Joe's waiting for Dawn and the Amazon guy. So, because he's probably got a lot more experience than any of us does. So, ask away, ask the questions. Jeff will answer.
Yes, yes. So that was another cool thing too. I was talking while you were getting your water that, about learning about Joe's background. I didn't know it was, heavy into the residential side as well. And, I learned a lot of things about Joe by watching when you interviewed him that one night. It was a really, really good
Right.
show. And him
So,
and
yeah,
I,
that's why
like,
I want to take them apart because everybody, like, it's even with you,
yeah,
everybody knows the YouTube Jeff or the
yeah,
YouTube,
yep,
Joe.
yep,
But we want to know the person behind
hmm,
that persona,
yep,
because we know that you guys are good at what you do, and that you're very, like you research. Joe, same thing, very technical
yep.
research. But we want to know, about you guys yourselves.
And
What
people,
drives you to do what you do?
yep. And people think, like, because I've put out debunking reaction type content mainly, and exposing fake priests and things like that. People have no idea how many hours and hours and hours and terabytes of investigation footage I have that I just haven't done anything with yet. But we're going to start bringing that out too. Plus,
Right.
there's places I want to go because I like. So we have a local case coming up this Sunday, but I'm kind of taking a break from residential stuff because that it does wear on you. You can't involve yourself with a family with kids and the kids are getting messed with and
Right.
not have that affect you. You've got to take breaks from it. And that's
Yeah.
I really got burned out when with the Warren Foundation, I did so many cases. And it's like, and like I said, it's not a one and done. You go in there for a couple hours, do a little blessing, and everything's over. It's like you deal with these people for a long time until it's resolved. And it really bothers me when kids are involved.
Right.
And so so I'm stepping back because you owe it to them. So if you set up 4 cameras in their house for 5 hours, you owe it to them to watch every minute, every second of each one of those cameras.
Right. And
Because
it's hard not to become emotionally attached
yeah,
to what you're
especially when
doing.
especially when something's happening to the kids, it's like, look, I totally believe your kid is not making this up because they couldn't. But you can't prove it. You can't find it. You don't know what you're dealing with. It's it is frustrating and it's a commitment. So, and that's not for YouTube. So, but we
Right.
do have fun stuff that we've done that I can put on YouTube. It's just, again, like the struggle is how do I make it entertaining and compete with Twin Paranormal when maybe one or two things happen that were interesting? I'm not even going to say it's paranormal. It's just this happened. What was it? We don't know.
Right.
And it's hard to make that entertaining, especially when I started doing this, I wasn't filming for YouTube. So now it's, you know,
Now you have the other end of the spectrum that you got to
right,
consider
right.
when you're doing a videos.
Yep. So, cause I want to go to the Monroe house in May but I'm going to keep YouTube in my head as well as my investigation style when
Right.
we do videos of this. It's like, okay, you know, what's going to make a good episode, even if nothing happens, so that's
Right.
kind of on our forefront. But there again, I'll set up my DVRs, all that stuff. So we have, and my microphones and recorders and blah, blah, blah,
You can
and
bring your
actually,
wig.
yeah, yep. Yeah. You do gotta, I've thought about that too. Like, so that's a character that's going to make appearances throughout some of our content.
All right. That's going to be an
But
adventure.
rumor has it that, Mountain
Hi,
was
Nightmare
fired.
Nation.
Rumor has it that Mountain was fired and he's really, really pissed off. So, he's creating a video about that. So, hey, Tyler, what's
Okay.
up? Tyler, we were just talking about you. Your ears must have been burning. I'm not even going to tell you what we said. You're just going to have to go back and watch. No, Tyler's, he's cool. I like him.
That's what happens. You mention the name and they shall come.
Yeah, where's Dawson? We were talking shit about him too. No, we weren't talking shit. It was very, very nice.
Only that everybody's starting to think he's homeless.
Yeah.
Because he
It
lives
is
he's always in his car.
yeah, yep. And we know
That's
Tyler works for
funny.
UPS.
Oh no. Oh, so he's in the truck.
Yep. Oh, no,
Oh,
those
jeez.
are so Tyler and Dawson, those are two on the list too of people that I want to try and meet this year somewhere. Tyler, it
That'd
was
be
like 10 minutes.
fun.
It was 10 minutes ago. So if you fast forward to that timestamp, but yeah, I want to meet up with like Weeping Willow and I'd like to meet Joe.
He said
Tyler and
Dawson's in his
Dawson.
car all the time.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he's living on it. He's one of those guys that lives in a car.
No. He does have a location somewhere because he makes videos where he's got that. You can tell it's a basement. And he's painted the
Uh-oh.
wall. He's painted the wall black
Right?
because it's got that brick concrete stamp pattern that that they use
It's
for
like you tell
basements.
her,
So,
okay.
yep. Yeah, he's definitely in a basement somewhere when he does that stuff.
Oh, jeez. But yeah, that was funny because they kept saying, "Are you?" I think it was side eye guy. Are you in your car?
Yeah, it was so cool to see all of them get together, and then, and like I said too, with Dawson and Kenny Biddle, like I it. So what did Dawson? How did he persuade Kenny Biddle to handcuff himself to a pole in that basement?
I think Kenny is game for anything.
Yeah, yeah. And Ken, and I know a lot of people don't like the Warrens, and so I was very, very scared to release to people that I was a manager of the Warren Foundation for a while, because Kenny hates the Warrens. I mean, he flat out
Yeah,
says that he's like, because I sent him an email one day asking him about something. He's like, I don't like the Warrens, right? I'm like, yeah, and I'm cool with that. Like, you
I
know,
respect it. I mean,
it,
I'm not a fan either.
right. It doesn't
It's
take
nothing to do
away
with
from
you.
right. And really, in my part of the Warren Foundation was, our goal was to help clients. It wasn't to find the next Amityville case or the next Conjuring case. It was to help real people. And that
Right,
was the goal of the Warren Foundation. And I did quit, but I still believe in their mission, if that makes sense. And they
right.
were, and that was the mission. It wasn't about fame and popularity. That's why a lot of people don't even know about the Warren Foundation, but it's
No, I didn't
completely
know about it for
separate.
a long time.
Yep. And it's completely separate from Nesper, which is the one that, Tony
Yeah,
Spira, who runs, who owns Annabelle and all that stuff.
right.
It's completely separate from them. We don't even talk to them.
Because I
So,
remember, yeah, seeing when the Warrens were doing their thing and on TV, and I was a kid, I'm thinking these people are for real, they're fake.
yeah.
There's no, and I was a kid,
Hmm.
and then, like I said, then years had gone by, and then they said mentions about the Warren Foundation,
Yep.
and I'm thinking, how are these people getting away with being so fake? And now they've got this foundation,
Yep.
but then I realized, okay, it was two separate things going on there.
Yep. And
Um,
I do think too. So from talking to, so the Warren Foundation was started by Lorraine Warren and her grandson, Chris McKinnell, which is Judy Spera's son. Um,
right.
and it was, I think Lorraine had a lot of changes of heart in her later years. You know what I mean? Like, okay, here again, I don't want to get myself in trouble, but I'm not saying Lorraine admitted that there were embellishments, but like, I've talked to enough people to know that, okay, some of the stuff was blown up a little bit. Maybe they believed it, but it was amplified. But it doesn't take away from the fact that they helped thousands of people, like real
Mhm.
people. Like, but it was never turned into a movie. It was never brought into the public, but they did legitimate paranormal work too. That was
And I think that's what ruined them is
right.
being in the Hollywood eye,
Yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
and that was a way to make money. And we've all known that. We've all seen it. As soon as it gets to where it has got anything to do with the Hollywood scene,
Mhm.
it's not, you can't trust any of it
Yep.
because they're not going to tell you the true story is boring.
Yeah.
So
Well,
they have to amp it up to make money.
like Andrea Perrin says, The Conjuring is completely made up with very, very few aspects of truth in it. You know, her testimony is in the 3 books that she's written, and she says, yeah, the movies are just, it's just a movie that's not even close to what it was actually like. But they took a few aspects that were real and turned it into the Warren
Turn
story
it
and blah
into
blah
the
blah.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah, same with
Because I
Annabelle.
did that words with, talk with Joe about that.
Yeah.
And he says the same thing. I think if there's anything going on there, it has to do with the property
Hmm.
and not the house.
Yep.
Because if there was something evil there, especially living in the basement,
Yep.
side-eye guy would have been running up those stairs
Yep.
faster than,
But how do you make a movie about the property? The movie has to have a bad guy, if that
yeah,
makes sense. So
yeah,
it's, and you're taking, it's a good Hollywood trick to take something, fictionalize it, but base it on a real place and real events, and it makes it more believable. So,
right,
yep. But there's, the Amityville case too. That's something, like Ed and Lorraine were hardly involved in that case. Like, they were there with a news crew one night. That's it. That was their involvement with that case.
right.
They never investigated it when the Lutzes were there. None of that. Um, but I really think, and I know that's controversial, but I really do think that there was a haunting there of some sort with the Lutzes. But I have heard the other side to where it was a hoax and why and blah blah. It's definitely it's a tough one to make your mind up on because there's a lot of credible sounding things on both sides.
Well, yeah, because I've read some documentations and stuff about how it had a
Ooh,
lot to do with drugs and money,
yeah, yep. And
and
he was into the occult, like
he used that as an
yeah,
excuse
yep. He
because
was
he
part of
had
the
the
mafia.
yeah, there was a hit out on the family, and
Yep,
for him to gain respect back, he had to do what he had to do,
yep,
and
yep,
then he blamed it on demons.
yep,
It's pretty
yep.
much the bottom line.
Yeah.
Julie's wanting to know, what is your thoughts
Ooh,
on the Arnie Johnson's case?
yeah. That's the Conjuring 3. I think the devil made me do it. I I I may address that in the future, Julie. I don't want to answer that now because at one point I was all in on the story as it's told. However, in doing research, my mind might be changing. Something did go on there. I don't know that Arnie was possessed. Like I've seen a lot of things that make me kind of doubt that part of it. But I think the part of it where the kid was possessed, could potentially be real. My
So you're
mind's
pretty
not
much
made
on
up.
the fence right now.
Yes, my mind is definitely not made up. I mean, I was all in that was a real story, the way it was told, you know, up until 6 months ago. I'm rethinking a lot of stuff, even stuff that I've done,
Wow.
like EVPs that I've passed off onto clients. Like, crap, was that just me, you know, doing that on the microphone on
Right.
accident on the recorder, and I turned it into something? I don't know. So it's, like, so I made a joke about it, but my eyes being opened when I did that top 5 debunks. But like my eyes really have been opened in the last 6 months to a lot of things. And
Oh,
it's
yeah. Because I
yeah,
think at the time when you're doing things, you don't realize it.
yep, yep,
And that's why it's important. Like I said, like with Kenny, everybody goes, well, he doesn't believe anything. No, he's
right.
open to believing, but
Hmm.
you've got to prove that it was a human error.
Hmm.
It's pretty much, I think how he's looking at it. If it's not human error and it's not scientifically explained,
Yep,
then okay, what
yep.
is it?
And Kenny, honestly, like, so one of the things that really opened my eyes, and it's in that video, the top 5 debunks, is I always believed, the Demon Boy picture from the Amityville house, or the Ghost Boy, they call it.
Right,
It-
right,
I always thought that was a legit ghost kid. But then I watched Kenny Biddle's video on it. I was like,
right. Wasn't it like the producer's kid or something?
it was their publicist,
Oh,
Paul Blartz. And it's like, with the way Kenny shows it, it's like, yeah, Kenny, you could take that case to court every day of the week and win. Like, you're right. That's what's in that picture. It's that dude. It's Paul
yeah.
Blartz. Yeah.
Oh, because it was the same thing. Did it happen with what the heck was that movie? Three men and a baby, or I think it was that movie where they see the little kid in the curtains by the balcony or by the
Oh,
window. Is that what the movie was?
I think so. And I don't, that was a long time ago that I saw that. So I don't remember the
Yeah,
details,
and
but I
it
think
was
it was
for
that movie.
years. I thought, oh my god, yeah, it's actually they caught something. And I come to find out it was somebody's child that their parent worked on the movie, and they snuck it in there.
Yeah. Yep.
Because to look at it, yeah, it was freaking you out.
Yep.
Yeah, see, 3 men
Yeah.
and a
See that,
baby.
baby.
Oh, and it was a cardboard cutout. Okay. So yeah, but then when you see that, you're thinking, oh, what the heck is
Yeah.
that all about?
Yep. Yep. And the thing is, with video, it's so hard because things can be fake so easy. Like with the software that I have, I could make, if it, like, I could do what Lee does from, Really Haunted. It's
Right.
it it's so hard. I don't trust any video that I see. I really don't anymore, because I've seen so much fake stuff. It's, and once you learn how they do it, and some of it you can't figure out how they do it, but you just know it's not right. You know,
Right. See that
you
you
get
guys beat me in way ahead of the game there. 'Cause
sometimes too, it's just even the reactions of the people involved. Like, okay, if that really happened, you would not react like that. Like,
right.
you know what I mean? It's just you're acting.
Yeah,
You know,
well, yeah,
it's
you could tell
yep,
it's just faker than fake, but
yep. And they'll have more stuff happen in a 30-second video than I've seen in 3 years combined. You know,
oh,
it's like, come on, it doesn't work that way.
well, I always said I see that, I go, like all the demons and all this and that. And I said, I've been doing this for 20 years
Yep.
and I've never ran into anything that these people run into.
Yep.
Apparently, I'm going to the wrong places.
Yeah. Yep. Now I've that there again. That being said, I watched a girl get choked out in a basement. I don't know if we talked about that last week or not, but it's a it's a place in Toledo. It was an old convent, and there is something in that basement that's I'm not even going to say it's demonic, but there's something very very bad down there.
Right.
And this girl got this burn on her chest, and it was my camera that was right there filming her. I filmed the whole thing. I went home that night because I am skeptical. I was like, can I do that to myself? I tried. I couldn't do it. I could not recreate that burn that she had because anything I did had fades to it.
Right.
That was like an outline. It you'll
Oh.
see it soon because I'm going to work on that video pretty soon because that was crazy.
Oh.
But then she kept getting messed with down there, and then all of a sudden you see the same outlined bright maroon marks, two fingers over here and one over here, and she dropped. And there's like clear fingerprints on her throat.
Wow.
And we got her the hell out of there. And it was like, there's a whole lot more to the story that I'll talk about in the video, but like
Right.
whatever
So
was
whatever it
down there
was
was
didn't
bad.
like girls, apparently.
Didn't like her. And
Oh.
Dana's got a story from down there too, because I took Dana there for a public ghost hunt, and something was like tripping her and messing her up a little bit too. So we ended up leaving early, but there's something down there that is not right.
Huh.
And there's rumors. I don't know. I think this one's actually been proved though, that like there was a dark witch coven that used to practice in that basement, and that's why there's yep.
Oh.
And there's symbols on the wall. And one thing I do want to do sometime is post that. Um, I'd love to know what these symbols mean. Are they just made up symbols, or are they actual real witchcraft symbols? Like I want to know the room that had happened. There are these symbols painted on the wall. I want to know what they are, and I've never been able to find the answer to that. So
Even if you looked it up online
yeah, I've never found it.
or gone to like
No.
some kind of library, they would have
I think
the
you need to,
old, or even go like the Wiccan store or
yeah. I haven't
website.
done
If you
that
just
yet.
put it out there, then somebody will probably come
Yeah.
back with something for you.
That's what I'm saying. I know enough people, that are involved in Wicca and witchcraft and things like that, that if I post the pictures again, because it's been years since I posted them, I think somebody might know what they mean. So
Right.
I'm gonna have to do that soon, because I've always wondered. Here's another crazy story, and you're gonna think I'm full of shit, but I promise you, this is 100% real. So this location, this place I was just talking about, we interviewed a lady that told us some crazy shit, and I captured it all. Do I have it here in front of me? I don't. But I have a Black Olympus recorder. I recorded the interview, stuck it in my camera bag, and that recorder, then I went back to pull it out to listen to, because she said some crazy stuff and I wanted to re-listen to it. So a couple days later, I went to go find the recorder in my bag. I couldn't find it. So I was like, oh shit, what did I do with it? But I always, always, always put that recorder in that camera bag. So I knew like it's either there or on my computer desk. That's the only places it goes. So then another couple days, I'm like, okay, I've got an investigation. I need this recorder. So I tore my house apart looking for this recorder. Couldn't find it. So I'm like, shit, it's gone, whatever. So a month later, I bought a new one to replace it. So that recorder came up missing 2 years later. So now we're 3 years down from that initial recorder being lost. And Dana goes, just ask the spirits to give it back to you nicely. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. That's so stupid. I'm not going to do that. But okay, I'll play along. So I asked for that recorder. So 15 minutes later, I'm like, oh crap, I got to go charge my batteries because we got an investigation tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. So I went and I got my camera bag and I found the recorder that I had just lost. Not only did I find that one, I found the recorder that was lost 3 years before that had this interview on it. I have been in that camera bag 1,000 times in those 3 years. It's not that big a bag that it could have just been hidden. You know what I mean?
Right.
So how did that happen? Like there's no way to explain that. It's not a big bag. It doesn't have pockets. It doesn't have loose places that things could get hidden for 3 years. And I've emptied it 100 times. You know, it's just so. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that this building or location, you know, something involved with that can really do things.
Right.
Yep. So that story will come out someday.
Someday, sure. You dangle the carrot and then you
Yep.
tell us someday.
The problem is I have this stupid ass thing called a job
Oh, well,
it really cuts into my YouTube time and it pisses
come
me off.
on, Jeff. Who works nowadays?
Yeah, I know. I want to quit so bad. Maybe someday.
Who works? Wow.
Yep.
It doesn't seem like anybody works. I know I could go out in the middle of the day during work hours and the traffic is
Yeah.
horrendous. And I'm thinking, go to work?
Yeah. Yep. So who is Nocturnal Frequency Radio? I
That's
don't
the
think I've ever
truth,
seen them in
too.
the chat before.
That is Steve. A great, you guys should check him out. He's got a great program. He has a radio program plus a YouTube channel. They talk about all kinds of great stuff.
Cool.
And I'm so glad that he had time to come and hang with us.
I have to check him out because
I
I'm
always try
always
to catch his program because they talk about, I mean, everything.
Yeah.
You know, paranormal, Bigfoot, UFOs, all kinds of stuff.
I'm always looking for new stuff to listen to at work.
Oh yes, he's, you know, and it's of course he's been having some technical difficulties. Hopefully you got him figured out, Steve. I honestly think, I don't know, because we've got I'm glitchy tonight too. Of course, I
Yeah.
forgot I have a booster that I
Oh.
usually put on, and I didn't put it on. 'Cause I figured it'd stop the glitching. I'll have to play around with it tomorrow.
Do you
Because the internet in this
hardwire?
area stinks.
Do you hardwire to your
Excuse
router?
me. On my computer I have upstairs. Here,
Okay.
no.
Yeah, you should probably do that when you do live streams. Just a recommendation. Because when I first started doing them, I did it on Wi-Fi with StreamYard, and it
Right.
was choppy. And I was like, oh, we got to plug this in.
Right. I don't have to do it that way because if my husband's home, then he's on that computer.
Oh, okay.
And where we have it located in the house, it's not very quiet. So, I mean, you might have catch the last show I did. It was Cassie, I think.
Yeah,
And,
you were in the dining room or
I
something?
got stuck being in the dining room.
Yeah.
So you got my husband in the corner bitching, my son come walking by, and then the dog kept jumping in my lap.
Yep.
So I do the show downstairs in the shop, so it's quiet.
Yeah.
And I don't have to worry about nobody.
Yep.
If I put the hook blanking out and all this other garbage. Of course, it's got to do with the weather too. If the weather's really cruddy outside, then you pay all this money for the internet, and I think we're just getting ripped off, is what we're getting.
Yeah. Well, we had a tornado come through last year, and for about 8 months, we had internet problems bad. It kept going out, cutting out, and it sucked. And they fixed it up. It seems to have improved, but yeah, it was bad for a while.
Up.
Yep.
Yeah, if it rains a lot or high winds.
Yep.
And it could be out for just a little while or days or
Yeah. Yep.
Gotta love it.
Oh,
excuse me.
Hang on one second. I think Dana's going to bed. Hang on one second.
Okay.
Yeah, she's not. She ain't feeling too good after her little incident at the
Well,
airport.
they didn't sound like it was little. It sounded like the dog took her for a drag.
Yeah, it's a big dog. It's a Great Dane. We're
Oh,
not.
good Lord. She was
Yeah,
getting trampled by a horse.
yes. It was like shipping a horse. I forgot how much did that. Yeah, so she had to have a custom crate built for this
I was
flight.
going to say, how do they crate up a Dane? I'm like,
$1,000 to build this crate.
oh my.
This was a very very expensive endeavor to ship this dog to Germany. Very expensive.
It probably would have been cheaper if they bought the dog a seat on the plane and had a babysitter.
They can do that with smaller dogs, but they couldn't do it with her.
Not with
Because
the Dane.
what does she weigh? 135 pounds. Yeah, she's a 135-pound horse.
They're huge.
What's that?
She's on the bigger side.
Yeah, she's on the bigger side of Great Danes, and she it's just an absolute sweet dog. I mean, gentle giant totally applies to Maggie. She's a sweetheart. But
Yeah, I have a few. I've got a couple of cousins and some friends that have Great Danes, and I'm like,
yeah,
"Oh, where do you put these animals? They're just
yep.
they go anywhere they want, pretty much."
And their tail, like, you can't. Well, one thing, you can't put anything on a counter because they eat it. Like that's
They're right there.
Yeah, that's plate height for them. You know, my little fat dog has to jump up and put some effort to steal crap off the counter, but not Maggie. It's like it's right there. Yeah, butter. She loves butter. I don't know why.
Oh, jeez.
So, but yeah, but then that tail is like a weapon, and it just knocks
Yeah.
shit all over the place. So it's like, you remember when you had kids, you had to toddler proof your house.
All right.
You have to do that with that dog too.
Yeah,
You know,
I can
put
see
things
that.
hide up so the tail doesn't knock it off.
Because
Yeah,
I have a
funny.
German Shepherd. You've seen Athena.
Yeah.
And her tail is like a weapon.
Mhm.
She'll get something and she'll just smack you. I'm thinking, oh, God, it hurts.
Yeah.
Or, head butted. I've gotten head butted by her.
Mm-hmm.
And I could actually say I have seen stars.
Yeah.
Her head is like a block of cement.
Yeah.
Because I was bending down as she was jumping up and she nailed me right between the eyes. And I fell backwards. I'm thinking, oh God. I thought I was going to pass out.
This dog would step on your feet, and it's like, God damn, that hurts.
Yep.
Like 135 pounds of boom.
And he thinks he's a lap dog, right?
Oh, she does. It's absolutely
It
a lap
jumps
dog.
right up. They all do it.
Yep. Like I said, she's a very sweet dog, but man, we don't have room for her.
Big of a
She's
creature.
size. Yeah. All right, Julie, we'll see you.
Thank you for hanging with us.
Yep.
And if you guys please do remember to go subscribe to Jeff's channel, Boo Production Paranormal, and hit those likes and subscribes and all those bells and whistles. Same for here, if you could, we'd really appreciate it.
Yep. I know I've shouted you out a few times, and trying to get people. So we were trying to get to 1,000 so bad.
Yes.
Those last 100 were so hard to get. Like I felt like I hoed myself out. I like.
Well, that's why I made a crack. I don't remember. Was it your show? It was your show. And I made the crack about it. So 1,000. I'm just happy to get 100.
Yeah. Yep. But
I'm
then
almost there.
But then as soon as we got to the 1,000, we got like 100 plus.
It's fantastic.
Right after that, it was like, okay, so we struggled to get to 1,000. Now we totally busted it. So, and we were watching every day, and we would see the count go up one, and then somebody would unsubscribe because I'd put out a video they didn't like or whatever.
Right.
So, but it was, I mean, that was a big milestone. Like it was I don't know.
Sure.
A goal I had. And
it is.
And that being said, too, I don't do this all for likes and views on YouTube. However, we all want likes and views on YouTube, right?
Sure, because you want to know that somebody's enjoying something.
Right. But I'll never sell out to put out content, because there's things that I could do if I was totally pimping myself out for likes and views. I would have talked about that.
I'm saying, like I said, a big deal for me is, woohoo, 100, all right. But I think I got 14 to go or something.
When I started this, really focusing on YouTube, like in November, December, that area.
Right.
I was at 45 subscribers, and it took a long time to get to 100, and then 500. It just. But then you'll get them in blocks. All of a sudden, it's like, okay, that video was cool. People liked it. You got a boatload of subs, and you know,
Right.
and not only that, it's. I really like seeing people like Julie that's in here tonight. You know, she watches all of our stuff, comments on all of her stuff. Like she really likes it. I feel,
Right.
or she's just blowing smoke up my ass, which that's fine too. But Fantastique is another one. There's so many people that I see them comment in everything that I do, and it's
Right.
it's cool as hell. It's like,
And it means a lot. Yeah, it
yeah,
really does. It's
it's like they actually like it. They're not just watching for a view and not, it's like
right.
they really enjoy it. So that's cool.
Right. So yeah, well, right now I haven't had a chance to put any videos out, so I'm hoping to get that done within the
Yep.
next couple of months, and then we'll see how that goes.
Yep. And like I said, I have so much old content that I can work with.
Right. See, I don't have any of that because back in the day, and
Yep.
we didn't videotape anything.
Yep. See, we
It was
videotaped everything, but it wasn't filming our reaction. Like I've often I want to joke like the difference between a YouTuber or the difference between a ghost hunter and a paranormal investigator is the ghost hunter has the camera pointed at their face. The investigator turns the camera around and they want to capture what's in the room.
exactly.
That's the difference. And I've always
Yeah.
filmed like what's in the room, not myself or people.
Right. Well, everybody already knows what you look like.
Yeah.
So
Yep. But
that's how I look at it that way. You're already tuning in to look at my face. You want to see what's going on.
But see, YouTube is very they want the reaction of the content creator.
Right.
That's why you almost need two cameras at least to do it, because you want to get your reaction, but you want to get what's going on too. So
right. See, I don't have that. I have two cameras. That's
yep. And people use your iPhone if you got one. Those are fantastic cameras.
Yeah, actually, the one on my phone it's not an iPhone, but it's a good phone.
Yeah,
it's got a great camera.
Yeah, if you've got newer
so
phones,
you can all see, go, ooh, whatever.
Yeah, yep. Who was it? I was watching Matt Benton from Devil's Hour Productions, Joe's partner.
Yep.
He had a camera rig where his camera was pointed that way. Boy, that was a nasty looking gesture on YouTube. Hope no one sees that and clips it. But there was a camera pointing that way, but he also had one on the backside filming his reaction.
Right.
I was like, man, that's a good setup. That's actually pretty smart because you can get both that way.
I know he gets all suited up like he's going into battle
with his damn helmet on. I got to ask him something.
Cracks me up.
Yep.
Is he going coal mining or?
Yeah, he's cool as hell too. I was on a live with Joe a couple weeks ago, and then after everybody left, the live was over. Me and Matt stayed on for an hour. Afterwards, He's showing me all of his stuff from the Monroe house, and I'm telling you right now, that documentary is going to be killer. I was shown things that I can't talk about, but that's going to be a very, very good. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be cool as hell. It's going to be, and I love the Conjuring one that they did.
Yes,
this is going to blow that away.
So that's
it really is.
They put a lot into it.
Yeah. Yep. And I
think it's great. It's their thing,
Yep.
I don't think I want to put that much effort into
because
it pretty much takes over their whole life,
Yeah. Well, and it's not like in like they said, to really to really do true paranormal investigation, you can't go to a place for 3 or 4 hours and that's it.
Right.
You have to go there multiple times. Exactly. Yeah. Yep. We had one that we did. This was in 2018 or 2019 where and I've never gotten to do this again, but we got to stay there for 72 hours. We had everything, cameras everywhere, microphones everywhere. But that was a thorough investigation. You got to spend three full days in this place, and that's another video that will come out. That's going to take a lot of work to do that one because I have hundreds of hours of footage from
that's
that
what
place.
it is. The editing is the killer.
and things definitely happen there. But
And that's the
plus,
thing that a lot of people don't understand. It's just like that's why I think it's great when Joe puts out his videos about the editing and what
mhm,
he's doing
yep,
and so it's showing everybody what you're putting into the
yeah,
product.
yep. And
Um,
I'm gonna start a subscription side, a member side to our channel, and that's so. I think paranormal investigators are going to want to maybe become a member because I'm going to have things for them to analyze. I'm going to put a lot of raw footage,
right,
of investigations. Plus, we're going to do um, things like the behind the scenes stuff that doesn't make the videos, like when I film the funny intros.
right,
Some things that don't make it in the video are way more funnier than what does. It just didn't fit.
right.
So, I'm going to start posting all that stuff in there, but I'll always put our best stuff first,
So pretty
because
much what you're saying, when you're gonna have like the other investigator, pretty much you're gonna have them editing it on the program with you.
no, I'm going to post raw files and say, analyze this, watch
Oh,
this
oh,
video, and listen for EVPs, watch for, anomalies or whatever, watch for, stuff,
oh,
just
oh,
raw investigation footage so that they can feel like they're investigating the place too.
oh, okay,
So,
not a bad idea.
no, because I do know people like to do that. They want to, there are people in God love them, because it's always been hard for me to analyze audio because you've got a 4 hour recording that you've got to listen to every second of with headphones, and you can't be watching TV
Right.
while you're doing it. Some people absolutely love doing that.
Yes, the guy
And
that I have on my show, every now and then, Kale, is a total audio guy.
yeah,
Loves it,
yep,
and, so is yeah, that's something he
yep,
would tear into.
yep. But like I said, when you do a residential case, as much as I don't enjoy doing that, you have to do it. You owe it to the client to do that. You have to
Right,
listen to all of it because you're looking for answers. You're looking for how to deal with
right,
it. So
especially if it's the scary situation. I
yeah,
mean,
yep,
it's
yep.
and are now, like, the when you said you had, like, the 2 occurrences where you felt that there was something bad going on in the residential, what did you recommend for those clients to do? Because I know
Like I
that you
said,
guys don't do it yourselves, so
right. Like I said, the one we really tried to get another ministry, deliverance ministry, or the Catholic Church involved. Um, that's the one we talked about earlier, where the Catholic Church said we will get involved, but you guys are out of it then, and she has to do what we ask her to do.
right,
So she didn't want to go that route. She wanted us still involved. So we got her hooked up with a deliverance ministry that seemed legit, seemed to help. But then honestly, I think they were a fake ministry and this was the real deal and they didn't know what to do.
oh.
So at the time of me leaving the foundation, they're still looking for what we need to do to help her.
Oh, okay.
So that was that case. The other one, um, we really worked with this guy. We never went and investigated the house, but we worked with him a lot with Zoom meetings. We were trying to get him, because at the end of the day, and I'm not saying necessarily with demonic possession, but so for a regular haunting, if like if you come to me as a client, ultimately you're going to have to learn how to deal with it. I can come in and maybe temporarily remove things or whatever, but as soon as I leave, they're going to come back if you're still doing the things that you do to invite them or
Attract,
whatever.
right,
Right,
attract them, invite
right.
them. Yep.
So at the end of the day, the clients need to, do some lifestyle changes. And a lot of times they're not willing to do it. They think it's like TV. Like, wait a minute, paranormal nightmares, they come in and just kick it out and move on and go to the next one. But it doesn't work that way. So we worked with this guy for, it was about a year, and gave him things to do, things that, we had a very strong prayer network behind what we were doing with him. And then all of a sudden, okay, he's able to go to church. So he went to church and he got some help through the church too, because one of his things was he could not step foot on church property, and
Oh,
This sounds like this is a very, very short version of this story, but this is another one that I'll tell in a video someday because, you know, he messed up. He knew he messed up. He conjured something up and it was a real thing.
oh boy.
Yeah. He cussed out God, got into dark, dark stuff. He was trying to send curses to people. You know, he would actually send them mail with ritualistic things.
Oh, what the heck is
It's crazy.
that?
It's a crazy story. Yep. But then he, you
Holy
know,
crow.
but then it started to come at him, and you know, he's like, "Oh crap, this I screwed up."
Well, yeah, because there's just because you're doing
Yeah.
their bidding doesn't guarantee you a seat at the party.
Right. Yep.
You know?
And I really believe that this guy, he again, this wasn't a possession, but there was a demonic influence with what he was getting into, and you know, but he's good to go now, if that makes sense. I still talk to
No,
him. I talk to
right.
him probably once a week or so. It's you do make friendships with these people, you know, a lot of times, and you know, like he's one that I feel like I always got to keep my eye on, you know, because I was so personally involved with that case that, you know, we'll talk forever.
Well, I mean, at least you're making some kind of a connection.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah,
And it
that's
took, and even, you know, cases like that, it took probably 3 or 4 months for him to just be honest with me. You know what I mean? Because, you know, he was trying to gain trust in me as much as I was with him.
right.
And it took a long time to break that. Okay. Because he tried to get help, you know, he's tried to get help from other places, but just never made that connection or wasn't able to get help. So he's very skeptical of who he reached out to for help. So,
Well,
you
because
know,
yeah, usually, well, it's because the fear there of
yeah.
oh, are they gonna make funny? They think I'm full of shit.
Well,
You know,
the
this,
group
this,
that
this.
the group that helped him out beforehand, this is,
Right.
and I'll put this in the video. They put him in a straitjacket, performed an exorcism on him, told him that the devil himself was possessing him, and then put him on a live stream to talk about it. Like
Oh
how
wow,
how sick is that? I was furious. Like that's
that's
ugh,
terrible.
I can't imagine being put in a straitjacket.
See, and that's why
Then
there's no trust.
right, then being told you're possessed and it's Satan himself.
Yikes.
Like and like I said, there was a demonic influence, but the dude was not possessed. You know, so yeah.
Yeah, I've had a guy, or two there reach out to me and was questioning me, about what I was doing and what was going on. He
Hmm.
says because he's had incidents happen throughout his life, but he
Yeah.
never really got to speak to anybody about them. So I says, well, whenever you're ready, you know how to find me. I mean, no
Yeah.
pressure, it's
Yep.
so I'm sure he keeps track of what's going on here
Hmm.
and what everybody is saying, and maybe someday, I'll get in, he'll get enough of the trust in there
Hmm.
to actually just let me know what was going on
Yep.
and what my thoughts are. And even if
Yeah.
if I couldn't even answer it, then I could reach out to, the community and say,
Hmm.
this is what's going on with this person.
Yep.
What do you recommend or whatever?
And that was the cool thing about the Warren Foundation and being involved with that is because we had such a diverse group of members with different, you know, we had shamans, we had witches, we had, you know,
You were covering all the bases.
yes. So like if I came across the Native American case, I knew who to go ask and they
Right.
would suggest do this, do that, you know. So like it is, you can't like I do not proclaim to be an expert in anything. And I have the smarts to know when I don't know what I'm talking about. So let's go find out from somebody that does.
Exactly.
And if you're doing residential stuff, you have to kick your ego down and go ask people that know what the hell they're talking about. Don't just make it up. So many people just make it up.
Oh yeah. No, I've always said that to in anything that I do in
Yeah.
life,
Yep.
as from this to home construction or whatever.
Yeah.
I do a lot of things.
Hmm.
And I just come around and say, if somebody asks me a question, I'll say, well, I really don't know much about that. So either I'll look at it for you and I'll get back to
Right.
you,
Yep.
or I'll send you in the direction of somebody who can answer those questions.
Yeah. Yep. And I have,
Hi, Candy.
oh, Candy's here. How's it going?
So
But
I've always lived by that rule because
yep.
I'm not going to say something to you or anybody if I'm just talking out of my ass. I
Yes.
just don't do
Yep.
that.
Yep. And that's
Um,
that's the true sign, honestly, of a good investigator. If you
yeah,
don't know go look for somebody that is an expert in that particular
right.
part of the case.
So in
Because
turn,
I
you're learning, and then they're
yes.
learning.
Yep.
Yep.
Mhm. I don't
Yep.
know everything. I've never claimed to. There are certain things that I know a lot about, but there's other stuff that, I need to ask people about. So,
And I've also said that, I just, of course, a lot of people might not agree with me. I really don't think that there is a professional in this field because there's no proof
right,
proven
right.
to be considered a I think we're all professionals of our own
Hmm.
experiences.
That's why
And okay,
charging people money to investigate is such a no-no, because like if I have a plumbing leak, I pay a plumber to come over and fix the leak.
because
However, if
he's a
I have a
professional.
right, and I can see that I paid him for that service and he actually did that service.
Right,
Paranormal is different, because like I said, I've seen teams go in and tell people they got ghosts when they don't.
right,
So, like there's no way to prove that that service was performed
right.
to be charged for. So,
I mean, I'm not saying that people aren't, professional in their technique
there are people that are really good.
or yeah,
Yep.
yes.
Yep.
You have a lot of years behind you. You
Yeah.
know how to deal with circumstances or situations.
Hmm.
If you use equipment, you know how to run all of
Yep.
that. Um, and editing, yes, if you know it, you got it down pat.
Hmm.
Um, but as far as saying professionals, yeah, if we don't have proof, then how can
Yeah.
you claim to?
Yep.
I don't know. I think you understand what I'm getting at.
No, I do. I totally
We're,
get it.
professionals with our own experience because we've experienced it.
Yep. Yep. And there's another thing is people say there's no experts in the field, which yes and no. I mean, there are people that have certain aspects of what they do that they're an expert in. Like
Right.
I can debunk. So, like, let's say people have paranormal claims in their house. As an expert contractor, because I've been doing it for 40 years now, I can tell you if it's a plumbing noise or you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
so
Right.
that is an expert opinion, I guess.
Right.
But I don't have an expert opinion on what your ghost is, if that makes sense.
Right. So yeah, that's
So,
pretty much what I'm getting at. It's
right.
so it's
Yep.
and like Katie says, a plumber is a certified professional.
Right.
But that doesn't mean someone needs a piece of paper to
Hmm.
prove that they're good at what they do.
Yep.
Exactly, I agree. Um,
Yeah. I can, so, to prove that point, I can deal with almost every plumbing problem on the planet. However, I'm not certified as a plumber, but I've been doing that for 40 years as part of what I do. Sorry, 30 years. And so I'm an expert plumber, but I'm not certified on paper, if that makes sense.
right, right. So it's I don't know. It's just
Mhm.
the way I look at it. We're and everybody that that we watch and follow it is they're excellent. They're excellent at what they do,
Yep.
and they have the experience to back
Hmm.
all of their claims. And
Yep.
and I just think it would be awesome. Katie says, right, Jeff, it's more the
Yep.
experience you have.
Yep.
Yeah, it
Yep.
is.
Yep.
As far as being considered professional, because I don't think we're ever anybody's ever gonna get that label or that title until they actually acknowledge this field of science in the first
Hmm.
place.
And they're actually. Have you ever heard of Lloyd Auerbach?
Yes.
Yeah, he's kind of a professional and an expert. Like he actually has a real master's degree and doctorate degree of parapsychology and a lot of other things
Right.
related to the paranormal. So people like him are really, really close, if not an actual expert or professional. You know,
I guess you could say that.
yep. And he is a believer. He's not a total skeptic. Um, Kenny Biddle obviously is skeptic and doesn't
Right.
believe, but he's pretty close to an expert and professional too. I think. I mean,
And
actually,
yeah,
technically, he is because he gets paid to do what he does.
right. So
And
he is a
a lot of it's
professional
paranormal.
skeptic.
Exactly. Yep.
Um, so I mean, yeah, it's kind of I don't know, a fine line, I guess.
Yeah. Yep. But they're
Because I know you when you
but
tell
there's
people,
but
"Well, what do you do?" Well, I do this, and then they look at you
yeah.
like you've grown another head.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Although it's become a lot more acceptable. People don't look at you weird as much as they
Yes,
used to.
nowadays, yeah.
Yep. Yep.
I've noticed that has changed a lot
Hmm.
because it's true. Like when I started up the YouTube channel, and they're like, What are you gonna do?" And I said, "Well, I'm gonna discuss, the paranormal." And they looked at me like, "What?" Because a lot of
That's
some I have some people that always have known what I've done, but then
yeah.
the others, outside of my circle, they're like, "What the hell is that?" And it's
Yeah. I I've actually found that like when I talk about what I do to people, a lot of people are happily surprised. Like, "Oh, really? That's cool."
yeah,
Instead of "Yes, okay, weirdo." It's
right. See,
a
that's what
lot
we
of people
used
are
to
really
get.
interested. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what you used to get, the weirdo look.
Yep.
That's
I got a guy that I'm doing a lot of work for, contractor work. He called me up one day. He's like, "Okay, so explain this to me. I'm sitting here and across the street from me this lady's light is blinking on and off, and he's going on and on about, so, you being a ghost hunter and stuff, what do you think about that?" And I said, "Well, first, let's call an electrician. Let's rule that out. Let's,
right.
it's most likely an electrical problem. Let's start there." He's like, "Oh, okay. That makes sense." But it's funny to me that, the questions I get asked by people that you wouldn't think would believe in paranormal. What's this one?
No, I would believe it because you get really some strange questions.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm open more pills for Dana. Did you get one?
Well, thank goodness nothing. She didn't get anything broken.
Yeah. Well, she's now starting to get that pain of, like I said, when you fall like that, and we're in our 50s now, your body jerks and
Right.
you don't feel it right away.
Yeah, you feel it a
So
few hours later.
yeah, it's more than just the hand that she saw, the bruising and all that stuff. But so yeah, now she's got like that whiplash thing, if that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
So and and that big ass dog can do that to you.
That, and then of course the back. She's really gonna feel it, when she gets
Yeah. Oh yeah.
comfortable in
She
bed.
feels it now.
Yep.
Yep. She's feeling it now.
And you're
She's
thinking, "Oh my god, I didn't realize, I had all these muscles. What the hell's going on?"
yeah. Yep. Yep.
It's just the truth. Because it is
Yeah.
funny. When you're younger, I actually seen a comedian say did a skit on that. About, how they used to make fun of his grandfather getting out of bed. And then I'll say, "Yeah, now there's nothing wrong with you the first thing in the morning."
Yeah.
And then they go, "Yeah, but then when it's your turn, you're like, oh." And he goes, "I seen my buddy the other day and he had a cast all upside of his ribs." And they go, "What'd you do? Get into an accident?" "No, man, I yawned too quick."
That's so true story. 2 weeks ago, I went to drop my dogs off at my mother-in-law's like I do every day. While I was in there, I coughed. And I was like, "Oh shit, my back hurts." So I went out to the car and drove to go to work. I got to work, I couldn't get out of the car. I couldn't stand up. My back,
You
like,
blew your back out.
yeah. Obviously, it wasn't the coughing, it was what I did the day before. But I was in bed for 2 days from coughing. And then the third day we
Yes.
went to the urgent care because it's like, okay, I got to get some drugs or something because I couldn't freaking
So,
move.
yeah.
So yeah, there's some
Fun being in your
reality.
50s.
Yeah, no, it's not. I much prefer the 20s. But my brain still thinks I'm like, in my 20s or 30s. Oh, you
Exactly.
you can do that. You got this, dude. And then you're like, oh, you dumbass. Why'd you do that?
Yeah, I do that all the time.
Yep.
And then
Oh,
even my father, 78 years old, still thinks
mhm.
he can get on the garage roof without any problems.
But see, that's me. I own my own business. I've always worked for myself by myself. I've done stuff that like I used to hang drywall ceilings all by myself.
Right?
And so I still have that brain that I can do this.
No,
But now I go and try it. I'm like, dude, you can't do this shit no more. You've got to get some help. So
no, Jeff, it doesn't work that way.
yeah, yep.
That's how that
Oh
works. And we're back. There it is.
yeah.
Yeah, it
What?
happens to all of us. We all don't want to think of
Hang
us
on one
ourselves
second.
getting old. Okay.
Dana needs help with something real quick. Hold up.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. Everybody, I don't know. That's why I think everybody is. Your body's, aging and your brain's saying, well, no, you can still do it. Go ahead. I think we all fall victim to that one. Victim to, what is it? We eternal youth syndrome, apparently. And I don't think it makes a difference what age you are. Yeah, it's the truth. I guess I come home from work one day and walking up the driveway, and there's my father on the garage roof. I'm like, "What are you doing?" And it's like, "Oh, I'm okay. I got a rope tied around my waist."
Safety first.
Oh yeah.
Or a lot of times it's hold
And
my
how that
beer.
turned out was my son went up there to help him, and the scaffolding that they had up, it broke.
Oh
So my son fell through the scaffolding, but he put his leg up in the air to catch my father from falling. So he saved his grandfather, but then
yeah.
he ended oh, it was just a mess.
Yep.
So yeah, once you get to a certain age, you gotta just admit you need to slow it
Yeah.
down.
And I'm starting to like really get that now. Like I hate admitting it, but there's been times recently where I've been like, I just can't do that no more.
Yeah.
I I, I can't do it. I want to do it, but I just can't. So
Yep.
it is
And
what
then
it
you
is.
fall into the trap. Well, I feel good today. I'll do it.
Yeah. Yep.
That's me. And then yeah,
Yep.
later on it's like, oh God, what did I do?
Yep. Yep.
And the thing, I'm stubborn. So I don't want to wait for somebody else to do
Oh,
it.
I am too. I am too.
So,
Yep.
I'll say, well, gee, can you guys do this? Nobody does it, and I just go and
Yep.
do it.
Yep.
Like the other day, they had the wind was so bad. It was a couple weeks ago, and a piece of our stockade fence fell over, and I kept waiting and waiting for everybody to go put it back up. So I went out there and picked it up and put it back up.
Yep.
And then, of course, I got yelled at. What are you doing? That thing weighs a ton.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I figured that out after.
And
Yeah,
I've never asked people for help. Like I don't like to do that. I
yeah,
don't want to inconvenience people. So I've always learned how to do shit myself.
yep, same here.
Things that are two people job, I figured a way to do it with one,
Yeah.
So
Well, because my husband went to go get some tools. Where he was buying them, he knew the guys that owned the store, and
yeah.
they go, "What happened to your tools? Your wife steal them all?" And they said it as a joke. And he goes, "Well, yeah, she kind of did. Well, what the hell's she gonna do with those?" Well, not for nothing. He goes, "My wife knows how to do plumbing, carpentry,
Yeah. Yep.
electrical." They're like, "What?"
Yep.
I
The
said, "Yeah,
funny
because I
th-
get tired of waiting for you guys to do it."
yeah. The funny thing is like I joke with my kids all the time that like if the end of the world comes, you guys are screwed because you have
Yeah,
never learned how to just tinker and fix stuff. I tried to teach them,
exactly.
but they were all into the video games and this and that and the other thing. Like they would die of thirst with a swimming pool in the back backyard full of water. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They would we turn the sink on, it doesn't come on. So what do we do for water? Like you got a fucking pool
exactly.
right there, you dopes.
Unfortunately,
Uh,
that's the way they are. That's the way they are. And
yeah,
I was tough
I
on
mean,
my son. We
and
made
like
sure he knew what he had to do.
I tried with my kids, but they had, their mom didn't necessarily agree in forcing them to do stuff. So, but
Ah,
I really, really tried, and they just, I mean, God, they gotta call me up to flip a breaker. Like that's how bad it is.
oh yeah, that's bad.
Yeah.
Well, what freaks out, like my son, when he would bring a girlfriend to the house, and then he would he'd make dinner for
Hmm.
them, and they would just freak these girls out. You know how to cook and this and
Yep.
that. And one of them said it in front of me. I go, well, yeah, I had to teach my son that because
Yeah.
you girls nowadays can't even boil water,
Yeah. Yep.
and I had to make sure that my son could feed himself.
Yep. And Dana can cook, but I do most of the cooking here. It's just, that's we've fallen into our roles, and that's just one thing I
Right?
do.
It's how it works for you.
Yep, I do that. I enjoy it, so it is what it is.
Right? It's good if you
Yep.
enjoy it, and so yeah. But his girlfriends would get all freaked out. He could cook. He did laundry. I'm thinking, yeah,
Yeah.
he's part of the team. The
Yep.
team each has a job.
Yep. I hate laundry. Oh, I hate doing laundry. Hate it.
Well, he's old enough; he can do it on his own.
Hmm.
So how you get. Nowadays, you're right. The kids are soft,
Yep.
and they're getting nowhere, and
There was
it's
there was
sad.
one day. There was one day. So my son had an issue with his car. The battery kept dying, and I had jumped it 2 or 3 times for him, showed him how to do it. Blah blah blah. One day he called me up. He was at college in the parking lot, and his battery was dead. And 3 of his buddies were there with him with a car. So I'm like, you know what? Screw it. You guys can do this. Like, if not, look it up on YouTube. I'm not coming out
Figure
there.
it out.
Yep. I'm not leaving work to come jump your stupid ass car again. Um, there's 4. You guys want to call yourselves men and do men things. Let's start by jumping a car.
There you go.
And they
Change
figured
a
it out.
tire.
Yeah, they figured it out.
Hell, I used to be able to jump a car with a crowbar.
Yeah.
You
Oh
remember
shit.
doing that in the old days?
I never did that. That sounds
The
like a bad
starter,
idea.
the starter didn't work very well, so we used to have to use the crowbar, and you would hit. I forgot it was
Yeah,
so long
bang on the
ago.
starter.
Yeah, you're getting a
Yeah.
starter to turn
Yep.
over,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah. I've
yeah
done
with a
that. Yep.
crowbar.
Yep. Yeah, I have done that.
I got pretty good at doing that.
Yep. Yeah, them starters, you can get like 6 months out of them after they start to die.
Yeah,
It's just all you need is
just
a
jump
hammer.
it; it'll work.
Yep.
So yeah, that's kids nowadays they call AAA.
Yep. And I tell them, you guys are tech savvy. You can search anything on YouTube and learn how to do it.
That's it. Yeah.
Like for real.
Yep.
I mean, come on, guys. Oh,
I
no.
think you made me think of a thing with my niece. You would call me up and say, Aunt Laura, how do I make this or how do I cook that? I go, are you kidding me? I says, you've got the world at your fingertips.
Mhm.
Get on there, watch some cooking shows. You get the
Yeah.
recipe, you follow it step by step. It will
Yep.
come out perfect.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
now she makes things that I've never even made. So I said, use it for more than crap that you guys look at.
Yeah. Yep. I use it like this sounds stupid, but I use it a lot for barbecuing and smoking, meat
Well,
and
because
stuff like that.
it's an education because it's
Yeah.
different everywhere.
Yep. And I've
And
tried different ways of smoking, like, ribs and pork, whatever.
right.
But briskets, I try different people's YouTube ways, and I don't know. You can do a whole lot by watching YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I always tell everybody that. You don't know how to get on YouTube, there's a video.
Yep. Yep.
And I go, there's a video for everything on there.
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean it's cooking, especially. Yeah, because brisket, it really isn't easy to do.
No, that's a long one. That's a commitment,
Oh
but
yes.
but but it's worth it when you do it right and it tastes so good. It's like okay, I nailed it.
It was worth the 12 hours.
Yes, it takes a long time to do a brisket. Yep, yep.
Okay, well, now that we've chit chatted about everything and
We
anything
have,
else,
we went from cooking, mechanics,
that's
demons,
right. Demons
twins,
and everything. So,
all
oh, the
kind.
twins, I know. Now I'm gonna have that vision of you in the wig. It's just gonna
Did
crack me up.
Did you see that art that Faith did?
Uh,
She turned that into one
yes,
of her graphic.
yes,
Oh my
yes,
god,
yes. That was
that was cool as
funny.
hell. Yep,
It's a good
yep,
time.
yeah,
I want to thank everybody for joining us. I hope that we entertained you the best that we could, but
yep,
I also hope that everybody learned something off of Jeff's knowledge. I think that we should bring awareness to this kind of thing
yeah.
whenever we can. So if you ever know anybody that has problems and they think it's an evil entity,
Mhm.
please tell them to do their research before they go to any of these
Well,
fakers.
and reach out to us. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
you and I, like, reach out to us. You'd be surprised at what you can accomplish over Zoom calls. I mean, honest to
right,
God. I mean, some
right,
things you actually have to go physically investigate, but there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of ways to help people over the internet.
right.
So,
Yeah, you
I
just
mean,
have to please, let everybody know that they need. It's very important
mhm,
that that you do your research and find out information before you do anything that's going to cause you more harm.
yeah, yep,
Um, I mean, Jeff is letting you know right off the cuff he's dealt with it.
yeah,
He's seen it, and it causes a lot of
mhm,
damage. So everybody, please just remember to check out Boo Production Paranormal, the page. Uh, share it out, share him out to anybody you can think of, so we can get those numbers up. He's past that 1,000
I
mark.
yeah, no, but that
Woo-hoo.
being said, so I reached 1,000. I'm not going to be so much about the numbers. You know what
Right.
I mean? They'll come as they come, but
I'm
like,
teasing,
no, I know, but it's
but
but honest to God, you can find us on Facebook too and Messenger, and like if people really have paranormal problems, reach out to us.
right,
I
it's
I'm not saying this in a cocky way, but I do know what I'm talking about. I can help or point you in the right direction
in the right
for help. Like
direction.
I really can, because I don't like people that are afraid to go to bed at night. So the whole family huddles up in the living room. Like I don't like that. It's your house. You shouldn't be afraid to be
Oh,
there.
and Joe Frankie shows up just as
Oh
we're ready
Jesus.
to sign
Yeah,
off.
see ya, Joe. Peace out, brother. Bye.
We needed you at the beginning. But no, not to say that we can't do it again.
He's probably been lurking in the background. He's probably
So,
watched all the
you get the two of you on and we can just go into it more in detail.
yep,
But I think we touched, a good base on this,
yep,
and letting people know that it is an issue.
yeah,
Not just the fake videos that you see on YouTube or anywhere
no,
else on the internet. Uh, they have to know that people who are in serious need, this is an issue, and
yeah,
that's why Jeff and I wanted to do this.
yep.
Um,
There's a lot of really bad teams doing bad stuff
right, right,
to real
and
people.
we appreciate all of you guys.
Yep,
Faith, Candy, Fantastique, as a doll, everybody that has the time uh, to share with us. We really, really appreciate it.
yep.
And but Joe, you're late.
Yeah, yeah. Screw Joe Frankie. Just kidding.
uh, oh, there you go. He loves you. I gotta
Yeah.
do something with his hair, man. I'm telling you. uh,
All
so
right.
everybody, I hope you all have a great night. Jeff, thank you for joining me as
Yep.
always.
Thank you for having me
I
on
enjoy
again.
shooting the shit with you
Yep.
because we go from one extreme to another, and that I like that.
Yep.
And
So how's your demon? Wait, let's talk about jumping cars.
jumping. Yeah, and see here, you guys learned something. You learned how to jump cars with a crowbar. I mean, it's an old art, but I'm sure.
It is.
I don't know. I don't think you can use it well on older cars
Yeah.
because now they don't have starters, right?
Oh, I don't know. Probably not.
Not in a sense that we
Not one that you can beat on anyway.
right, with with the sledgehammer or with the
Right.
wrench, right? Oh, Miss Glenda, I'm sorry. You're gonna have to catch the replay, but I'm so happy you did pop in. And we look forward to all of you hanging out with us next time.
Mhm.
Until then, guys, thanks for hanging out with the Raw Side. Good night,
Peace out.
guys.
See you guys.